Welcome, everybody, to the Geek Matrix DC Comics Review Show episode number.
Whoops.
What the fuck?
Shit just went all wonky.
We
On
just
my
had a
head.
glitch in the Matrix.
We failed.
Episode number
Two,
235.
four,
Four?
four.
I swear we had four last week. Are you sure?
No.
Shit. It's one or the other. We'll figure it out by next week. Anywho, you might be right. Actually, I think I said 33 last week. Did I go too soon? Did we not do like the intro music?
Yeah.
I did go too soon.
No. We did it.
We did it.
We did it. I think.
Anyway,
It doesn't matter. We're here.
we're here. Yeah, everybody's somewhere. I'm Rob, and joining me as always, my wonderful co-hosts, Brandon
Yellow.
and Joshua.
Green.
Is it red?
He said yellow first.
I'm just gonna let you
join it
do your bit.
Part of my bit is
Get it out of your
getting
system.
All right, we're good. I'm kidding.
So,
It never
yeah.
goes away. Lucky you.
34 or 5 episodes of this, folks.
Yeah.
What we do.
At least it's what I do. It's what they sit through.
Yeah. Uh, anyway, we're here as always to talk about the week's DC Comics releases, of which we have 3 that we'll be talking about today, and one honorable mention, which I haven't read it yet, but I imagine it's the Valentine's special.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly all it is.
Yeah.
A bunch of meaningless stories. A Valentine's Day special, nothing really much except they're all about Lex.
They're all about Lex, actually.
Yeah, yes,
Holy
they
shit. DC's
everything
Lex in the
revolves
city.
around Lex and the city, and
But I mean, like last year's How to Lose a Guy Gardner in 10 Days only had one story featuring Guy Gardner.
nope, this was very Lex heavy. They went all in on the Lex.
Maybe
It
I
was
should read
full Lex actually.
That's funny because I feel like I saw some story that was like it was just the Bat family, or maybe it was Batman and
Oh no!
Damian and Tim. Like it was just the Robins, I think. So,
In this book,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, there is, because I saw a
then
post
I
on Reddit about that.
yeah,
then
I think we probably saw the same one.
okay. And that maybe I flipped through the pages a little too fast, but yeah, everything was Lex, and it was not my thing. You guys know that.
Rather Lexi.
Yeah, over Valentine's Day date issue. It was an anthology. It was a seasonal anthology book that's nothing but date issues. So
I'm going through the table of contents. Apparently, there's
if I go
a
crazy,
Titans issue or Titans short story in here that I might want.
Kryptonite.
I don't know who the writer is. I like the artist though.
Oh no, I messed up.
Well, who's the raider?
Charles Skaggs.
Sounds
Cool name, but I have no
familiar.
idea who that is.
It
We
does.
are on 235.
To
I messed up and numbered 233 twice on our episodes. Oh no.
Uh-oh. Shit
Well,
happened.
there we go.
How many times I put us in episode 600? So you're fine.
Yeah, but you didn't write it down.
Yeah.
Well, hey, in the descriptions, the darn titles are right.
Yeah.
Just the numbers wrong once. You can figure it out.
Sure, people understand. We'll forgive you this time.
Maybe.
Everybody makes a mistake.
I don't. Some people don't. Some people don't let things go.
But I mean, like, if they see episode 233 and they scroll up and they see episode 233 again,
They might just say, "Fuck that guy! I'm never doing this again."
nah, that's on them.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Just joking. I'm just joking. We love you, dear listeners. Where the fuck were we? Yeah, 3 books.
Right here.
We have DC Power Rise of the Power
Company.
Power
yes,
Company.
yeah. We have Green Lantern number the fuck is it, 23? No, 20.
19, I
Shit.
think.
Is it 19? I thought for
19.
sure, like, I thought it was
Nope,
19,
it's
but then I was
19,
thinking,
yeah.
like, there's no way we're only at 19. It feels
We're
like we're
in the
way
future.
later. That's
Actually, you might be like
nuts.
way in the future. I don't even know if 23 has been solicited yet.
Shit.
I don't
What do
know.
you
It's
know that we
19
don't?
for sure.
That's crazy. It just felt like when the
You're
initial big story arc ended, it felt like that was issue 20. But I think I'm just getting it confused with Jeff Johns' run, which ended on issue 20.
That is possible.
Yeah.
Totally possible.
Anywho, there's that Green Lantern number 19, and Superman Lex Luthor special number 1. And if you stay tuned a little bit later, we will be recording our first ever DC Comics review show, Absolute Edition,
Absolute.
where we will be
genuine.
covering the latest books from the Absolute line of comics, which will include Absolute Wonder Woman number 3 and 4, Absolute Batman number 4, and Absolute Superman number 3.
Because we
And that
skipped the last week of last year.
exactly, we skipped Absolute Wonder Woman last month, and we will be doing that every month, once a month, at the end of the month, recapping the month's Absolute books. We figured that would be a best case scenario. We can give a bit more credence and love to that universe, as the roster of books will be expanding in the coming months, going up to 6 books, and honestly, who knows going from there. So we'll be able to give that universe more appreciation as opposed to just shoving it in with all the other books, especially with DC increasing its own roster of in-continuity books in the regular universe. So we need to split things up a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have the regular edition and the Absolute edition, which I think works out quite nicely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But first, I want to talk about a different
What'd you call me?
alternate universe. I called you first.
Sound like butt first to me.
Brandon's on second.
Who's on third?
I don't know.
Josiah Power, that's who.
I was gonna do that. Who's on first joke for whoever remembers that skit.
Yeah.
Who's on first joke? DC Power Rise of the Power Company number 1, a cover from Kerry Randolph and Amelia Lopez, and
What?
that cover.
You're jumping ahead.
What?
What are you doing?
What you would? Oh, I was transitioning into the.
I wasn't transitioning yet. I want to ask you guys a question.
Boy, oh boy, did I read that wrong? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but it's been on my mind for a couple of weeks, and I keep forgetting to ask. How far into Ultimate Black Panther are you all?
Ooh, I'm very behind. Like,
yeah, me too.
5, 6 issues maybe.
I think I'm 6.
That one I gotta.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair
that one I will catch up to at some point. I'm mostly just kind of following whatever has been happening through various posts on social media.
I'm gonna catch up with that and the Ultimates by next week.
Okay, no, fair enough. Because I wanted to bring up the
and all of the
Sorcerer
X-Men.
Supreme.
You people are mean to me, so I have all these fucking Marvel books.
That's like one of the most recent things I've heard about was the new Sorcerer Supreme, the identity of which I have no idea.
She's been named, but I still have theories about who she could potentially be or be related to. But I don't want to give anything away.
Ex-wife.
No.
No, Klee has white hair. This chick has black hair or something.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Klee with
if there even is a Doctor Strange in this universe, who knows?
Yeah, there might not be.
With black hair.
Okay, well, beyond
it'd be
that,
a good guy.
Do y'all got any news? Has anything happened?
No.
Not really. I guess maybe just one or two book recommendations, like stuff that I
Yeah.
think is pretty cool right now and worth checking out. Rob, I know you kind of tapped out of Philip Kennedy Johnson's Incredible Hulk, and
Yeah,
I
I
don't
needed to like
remember.
toe my
Yeah,
line a little bit, but I might jump back into it.
it is. It continues to be a bit of a slow burn, but I've found that I've been enjoying it a lot more when I can read it in chunks. So I kind of will let it build up,
Okay.
and then just kind of. It feels like every 2 or 3 months I go through the same thing where like I'll miss 2 or 3 or 4 issues, and then I'll just end up rereading like pretty much the whole run just to kind of remind myself of what's going on, and I find I enjoy it a lot more. But if you remember the second arc, where they're in New Mexico and they meet the Ghost Rider of 1944, um,
Ooh.
something Romero, Lieutenant Romero, they recently announced and just released the second issue of a 5 issue miniseries called Hell Hunters, which is kind of establishing the back story of the 1944 Ghost Hunter. So it's like the Howling Commandos meets like Evil Dead, basically, and it's
Oh
really fun.
shit.
So it's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. It's got art by Adam Gorham, super underrated. It's only got 2 issues right now, but it's really fun. And
I might have to
honestly,
check that
I don't
out.
know if I would have read it if I hadn't been caught up on the Incredible Hulk stuff. And to be completely honest with you, I don't know if I would have read it if it wasn't for just how sick the cover of the first issue
Oh
looks.
yeah.
Like that alone sold me. I remember seeing like a post for it, and I was like, I don't even really care. Like this book could be total garbage, but I just want to read it, if only to see what's beyond the cover. But it is really fun.
This is the
Uh,
best Hulk cover there ever is. Don't even worry about it.
yeah. So yeah, if you ever wanted to see Nick Fury and some interesting Marvel
Best Nick Fury there
characters.
is. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, if you ever wanted to see Nick Fury and a bunch of
Rob,
Marvel
don't.
characters fight a bunch of zombie Nazis, this is the book for you. Which
Hell
already
yeah.
sounds like a crazy bitch. So yeah,
You're crazy.
definitely check that
Felt
one
so
out.
good the last time.
And then the other one, which I don't know if you've been reading this one at all. This is another one that I just kind of caught up on the last like 2 issues recently, but IDW's new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series.
I haven't.
I
It's
gotta
in my
catch
stash.
up.
Sick.
I read
So
the
It's in my
first
stash.
issue, but I gotta read the rest.
yeah, no, it's really good. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Um, especially some of the recent stuff, because like the first 4 issues are basically establishing where the turtles were and kind of leading them all to come together, but the last like 2 issues is where we've really been getting cooking with the plot. So definitely worth checking out, and they've kind of been switching artists with pretty much every issue. So if you ever wanted to see the turtles rendered by like some of the best artists working today, read this series.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
there's only I've only got the first 4, and I've only read the first one, but it was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
And I'll
6
be picking
issues.
up the next 2.
Yeah, there's 6 issues out as of yesterday, and yeah, like I said, each one has a different artist. Although, as I understand, Juan Ferreira is going to be the series artist moving forward.
Oh,
So, like the first 5
sick.
issues had featured different artists for each one. So you had Joel Jones, Raphael Albuquerque, Chris Burnham, Cliff Chang, Derek Robertson. Like,
They all
just
look
freaking
great
awesome.
though.
Yeah.
All of them really do.
I think my favorite's probably so far is the either the Mikey issue or the Leo issue. So definitely check those 2 out. They're really fun. And I don't know if the Turtles series is getting like a ton of love. I haven't really seen people talking about it. I feel like it's kind of a sleeper hit because there was so much buzz when the first issue came out, and then it just kind of, I don't know. I didn't really hear people um, raving about it as much, but it's pretty sick.
All right.
Write me up a review. Write up
Maybe.
a review for it. Write up a
Yeah,
review
maybe
about why
I'll
the Ninja Turtles run is better than what somebody else is reading right now.
maybe I'll recap the first 5 issues.
Yes.
Right on. Um, has anybody been reading Iron Man?
I
No. But I know
not unless you count the Ultimates. Then I
some
guess no, that's Iron
journalist
Lad.
is writing it. Is it Spencer Ackerman?
Yeah, Spencer Ackerman. Yeah,
I have no idea. I was just like, oh, okay. I
Iron
don't.
Lad.
Iron Man has been such a weird revolving door of writers for like the past
yeah.
8 years, like since Dan Slott, really since the end of Bendis's run. To be honest, I just feel like I never know what anyone's grand plan is, if they even have one. So we
What
went
do you
from
do
Bendis
with
to
a
Dan
billionaire?
Slott to Christopher Cantwell to Jerry Duggan to now the Atlantic guy or New York Times. I don't remember what fucking
Yeah,
news site he works for, but
something like yeah.
yeah,
It's a little crazy. You've got a point. Like it seems like every year I'm seeing there's a new Iron Man series with a new creator team. Like what the fuck happened? Like all right, I was gonna catch up to the last run, and then I saw there was a new number one again. I'm like okay,
Although
never mind.
apparently, if you want to continue that story, you should be reading West Coast Avengers, which
Was
I'm
that
like,
worth
I don't
it?
even know what's
Sweet.
going on, and I
I
know that
checked out the first issue and I wasn't sold.
I know that the previous run had a lot of tie-ins to like the Fall of X stuff, which was kind of the point where I dropped off. So my interest in that book kind of died after issue 5. But I
Yeah.
do remember enjoying it.
The
Like the
Iron
first
Man book.
5 issues of the Jerry Duggan run,
Yeah,
not the current run.
yeah.
I
No,
think the thing with
it
Iron
was
Man,
solid.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Iron Man is that he's a billionaire, but he doesn't have any like street level connections to anything. So there's nothing that like keeps his character really going on a major personal level,
Well, here's the thing:
right?
the last three runs,
Yeah, I
and
was gonna
including this
say
run,
they were
have all
all kind
been
of
about.
approaches to do that, and I feel like it just that aspect doesn't really work with Iron. Like I remember
I mean, yeah, he didn't start out
probably
with
the
it, so
only
it's not like
two
an integral part of his character. It's
yeah,
you can
probably
put
the
him
only
in
two
all those storylines
iterations
you
of
want, but it's hit or miss, you know?
yeah, but probably the only two iterations of Iron Man that I feel like I've ever been attached to is Warren Ellis's brief arc Extremis and
Yeah.
Yep.
the Matt Fraction stuff, and both of
Oh
those
God, that was so
usually
good.
prominently feature Tony as a captain of industry, which I feel
Yeah.
like that okay. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant tangent here as I'm
Run
done,
away.
but that should be like the one of the most interesting aspects of Tony. They're like to me for Iron Man at least in the comics, maybe not so much the MCU, but there were always like three things that were really appealing to Iron Man because he's not a character that I love, but I can get behind certain stories that will tackle this, and it's either something to do with Stark Tech or Stark Industries, something that puts that at risk or jeopardy or makes that a central focus, something that is dealing with emergent technology or a new innovation in the suit, or something that delves into Tony's personal struggles, a la the alcoholism or the loss of wealth or something like that, which is
Or him
why
having to
the
figure
start
out
of
the tech of somebody
Cantwell's
else.
and Jerry Duggan's runs were interesting to me at first because it's like, okay, putting him in a new situation, what does that do to his personal psyche? But they just got too lost in the weeds. But it feels like recently, at least, they've kind of tried to reject. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to take notes from Batman or something like Tony as a businessman is not interesting or not appealing enough to readers, and that we can't sustain it for long enough, so we don't really want to do it anymore. Because I do remember that kind of being a factor of Dan Slott's run, and that felt like a flop too. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just that people's approaches are uninteresting, or maybe the appeal of Tony being, this captain of industry, this guy with fingers in many different pots running Stark Industries has just lost its appeal. But I don't know.
Give him the
It always felt
steel
like that
approach.
that should be what makes him interesting, in the same way that Captain America being heavily involved in politics and espionage makes him interesting, in addition to a multitude of other things. Or with
Yeah.
Thor, it's the mythology and the wonder and the fantasy. Like that should be a interesting and integral part of who Tony is, and something that you could expand upon. But it seems, at least recently, it feels like it's never been able to. Um, I don't know, to properly develop itself.
Well, that's what I
just
was
my
trying
take.
to get across was that the last 3 runs, including this one, have all been about Tony trying to get his company back from somebody stealing it.
Yeah.
Right? It's been a down on his luck Tony who's been ousted from his company and he's trying to get it back from a bad guy.
I'd like to see an innovative tech versus tech kind of thing.
That is actually kind of happening in this current run.
That would be an interesting story for Iron Man for me.
It's
It would
weird
almost be
because it's
interesting to see him take on some kind of evil version of, like, imagine an evil version of John Henry Irons.
I guess they kind of had that with
Somebody
what's his
like
face
that.
Fei Long from the previous run, where it was
Yeah.
like the counter, the other side of the tech billionaire sphere, someone who's
Yeah.
entirely driven by personal advancement. But I'm kind of tired of the good billionaire versus evil billionaire. Instead of that, why don't we
Well, I guess I was thinking, like,
shift
came
attention
from,
to
like, a Batman-esque
yeah,
kind of.
like
Yeah.
let's say Tony finally successfully secures, majority stake in Stark Industries again, and he's like chairman of the board, he's running everything, he's back in power. Like, for all its flaws, I think Dan Slott had the right idea with Tony Stark Iron Man, where it's like, okay, if I'm in charge of Stark Industries finally again, like, let's move forward. What do I do next, right? How do I expand this and continue to build? And possibly what obstacles are there?
Yeah.
No, that's just copying Wildcats 3.0.
But less so the evil billionaire part, and more so somebody that's like, so Steel is Steel because he kind of just he couldn't help himself, and that's what keeps him going. That's what makes him John Henry, that parallel. And then Steel is basically a limited Superman, and I feel like, he came from the streets but worked his way up being super duper smart with tech, and now that is an integral part of his being. And imagine a bad guy like that. It's not he is a billionaire, but he honestly doesn't give two shits about the money. He's just tech obsessed, and it's technology, like Tony's arc reactor or whatever is in the middle of his chest. That's how tech is a part of his life. Like,
Yeah.
he can't survive without it for some reason,
Mm.
even if it's psychological or whatever. I think that would make a really cool bad guy, like a Jarvis inside of a human.
Yeah,
Could
I don't
be.
know. Maybe I'm also like, I'm trying to think of ways to not just do, yet another villain. Like, I want an interesting oppositional angle that isn't just a big bad who wants revenge against Tony. But I can't just rip off Wildcats 3.0's Halo Corporation approach. I really want to, because the first 14 issues of that book were brilliant, but it would, yeah, like the idea of Spartan, who'd basically tried to rebrand Halo as like this energy company of the future, and the entire book is predicated on, like, he's basically trying to take over the energy industry and by extension the world, but he doesn't want to give it away. So it's just like, okay, I'm going to slowly build up the Halo. Like, I want to do that, but not in an evil way. I don't know. I'm clearly not the right guy for this, but
24
there's
issue
some
run
kind of-
written by Tom Taylor with my idea. That would be awesome. I would read that.
Yeah.
That's your idea. Of course you'd read it.
I think it would be done well if it was
Tom
written
Taylor.
similar to the Nightwing book.
Yeah.
Like, he realizes that he
God, I don't
depends a
need
lot on
another
tech, gets
fucking
into
Heartless.
the human side of things, while that dude who's obsessed with that.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that is kind of heartless, isn't it?
Saying
Damn it,
mechanic.
never mind. All right.
If I could try and sell you, I don't know if it'll work, but I'll try and sell you on the story here. It does change it up the formula a little bit, because this is an Iron Man who is going up against, and this is going to be a stupid sentence, Roxxon and AIM at the exact same time.
I know
but
who Roxanne the name are.
but he's been he's fought them both countless times.
Mhm.
So it sounds
And
at first like it's going to
Roxanne
be
is
the same.
huge.
This is a guy that's been locked out of every single one of his armors
Mhm.
and is forced, after being a broken man, because he literally fell out of the sky and broke his back, forced to make a low-tech armor
Mhm.
Mhm.
and fight high-tech technology using low-tech.
Sweet.
Yeah, that is an interesting angle.
Yeah. Like his new suit, you can see the gears on it.
Mhm.
That's how low-tech it is,
Wow,
right?
like
Sick.
steampunk or something.
And yeah, like he's got more leather than metal on the suits. And it's actually kind of dope design.
It shows he doesn't just depend on the suit.
Exactly.
He uses it, but he doesn't depend on it.
Yeah. And even more so because he still outfits it with an AI, but it's called Iron.GPT and it fucking sucks.
Iron.GPT.
It's hilarious.
Sucks. That's awesome.
It doesn't call him Tony or Mr. It calls him username.
Username. Oh my
And
god, that's
constantly gets information wrong.
Yeah.
And he's always
Damn it,
correcting.
stop hallucinating. Stop
It's,
hallucinating.
yeah, no, it's an interesting angle. It's very funny and quite entertaining. And there's a lot of guest stars.
Cool, cool.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's either a good sign or a bad sign.
I wouldn't say it's a bad sign.
Okay. So
Yeah.
usually when I see guest stars, it's like the Spider-Man effect is what they used to
Yeah,
call it,
that's what I was thinking
Yeah.
too. But no,
It's like,
this
you
is
need this
guest
book to
stars
sell.
that have to do with the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Like if I could give like a couple of examples, you got Melinda May,
Mhm.
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. You have Scarlet Witch, you have Ironheart. There's a few examples.
Mm.
And none of these are like weird, creepy guest star spots like Passy Walker was in that one run from Christopher Cantwell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was
That
just
doesn't
weird.
sound like a good time.
It was not.
Continue.
If I could have a nickel for every time Tony slept with a cat-themed superhero, I'd have 2
I wonder
nickels,
what-
which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
You're right.
What was the other one beyond Hellcat?
Didn't he sleep with Black Cat,
Right.
Did he? I have no idea.
or did he just build her an armor?
That I think
I mean,
that
he
did
usually
happen
builds
in that
armor for
Black Cat
people that he
series.
sleeps with.
Yeah.
I have always just
possible,
been
I have
under
no
the
idea.
impression that Peter Parker has banged every single person that puts on a costume with long hair.
He
I
wishes.
Yeah, I think he wishes, but it's not like he banged She-Hulk. You know.
I mean, that like kind of swings through his rooftops. So like
Every
Black Cat, Silver
woman with long
Sable,
hair that puts on a costume. That's a lot.
Gwen, everybody
Yeah,
but
that's
Silk,
like
basically.
every Marvel
Every-
female character.
Everybody
Yeah.
but Silk that swings through New York's rooftops.
Well, that's funny because I
She's
think
All the
he
ones
did.
that swing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they did hook up in that weird.
Oh, did they really?
whatever the hell dance
Yeah,
slot.
no, that was the
Paramount.
whole point
Yeah.
of Silk's debut, was that they went to high school together. She was also bit by the spider, but she was, instead of given spider powers right away and learned how to use them, she was taken hostage and kept in a cocoon
Mhm.
for like
Oh, no.
10 fucking years.
Yeah.
And then when he finds her, they find out that because they were bitten by the same spider, their pheromones just make them insatiably attracted to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sweet.
bonk, go to horny jail, Peter.
Yeah.
Go to horny jail right
Yeah.
now. Put that thing away, goddamn.
To which,
Oh,
like,
that's
he
horrible.
freed her from the cell she was in, and then within minutes, they were making out on a rooftop.
Dance slot.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan Slot.
Yeah.
And then decided they could never be around each other again, otherwise they will just bang.
Yeah. So that is one example, I suppose, of a character with long hair who
Yeah.
Peter could not resist with.
Gwen, right? And Mary Jane, who
I
has
mean,
that
not
time put on a
not
suit, and
Spider
Black Cat.
Gwen,
Nope.
like Gwen, regular Gwen Stacy, but she never
Yeah.
wore a costume.
But there's an analog there. I mean, loosely.
I was like, good God, I would hope that he never had those kind of intentions with Spider Gwen. She's like
Black Cat,
60.
Hellcat, Silver Sable. I mean,
I
there's a
think
lot, is what I'm saying.
I think the question we need to ask ourselves is why does Marvel have so many redheads that people are attracted to?
I think
Because
the better question is why are redheads so attractive in general?
my
Answer
great
that
grandfather
Is
first.
that
gave
Not
me.
really a
He goes.
question?
He said, as you make it through life, remember one thing when it comes to women: stay away from women with an upper arm tattoo, and stay away from redheads. I'm not exaggerating.
Jesus.
Did he elaborate?
No,
Okay.
that was the end of the conversation. He was a man of few words, but he's like, just don't do it. If I said that, don't do it. That's all you need to know.
Well then,
It's my impression. It's because they're dangerous.
I guess
Possibly.
they have no souls.
That is.
Is that the thing?
That's Harris.
It's Harris. No, it's Ginger, fam.
I guess. Okay. Shall we move on into the books, gentlemen?
I think we shall.
Sure.
You think we shall?
I think we
And
shall.
then we're gonna go ahead and mark this time down real quick for a commercial break.
Okay.
And you know what?
Let's
This is
do it
gonna
again.
surprise you. We're back.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, you guys ready to just kick this off then?
Let's do it.
All right, DC Power: Rise of the Power Company, #1. This is a really long one. A lot of stuff happens here. First off, this cover here is from Kerry Randolph with Amelia Lopez, and that is a really cool cover. I think so, anyway. I feel like Josiah's story should have come last, kind of, but this is like a semi setup. Anyway, you'll see what I'm talking about. Josiah Power and Company Man, written by Brandon Thomas, penciler Charles Stewart III, um, Anthony Fowler, Anthony Fowler Jr. on inks, and Ulysses Ariola on colors. Josiah Power is business as usual, mover and shaker and lover of hot dogs. His nephew Daniel was killed, and it changed the kind of man that Power wanted to be. It starts with him setting a timer. We see it through the story a couple of different times, counting down. He's running out of time as he does some press conferences, but gets to John Henry Irons just in time. With the help of his faithful sidekick Socrates, that is, anyways. He's noticing the word time there used a lot because his life is basically built around it now. It seems that since the power company disbanded, Josiah has slowly been losing control of his powers. Then Daniel died fighting against Waller after she took his. And with Waller's doings as of late, he's lost his control completely. He can absorb energy around him and then do whatever he wants with it. Well, he can't hold on to it anymore is the problem. Steel has to send Josiah to the moon of Mars so that he can safely detonate. Thankfully, it is on somewhat of a schedule. This is a big Omega Boom Boom. Like a Mega Boom Boom big. He is blowing chunks into the hole of the moon of Mars, and he's done it 68 times. There's no clue why it's happening. They don't know how to fix it yet. Josiah's story has me interested, and it makes him, I guess, right now, somewhat of a reluctant bad guy, in that he's really dangerous, even though he doesn't want to be. 68 trips to Deimos. If he misses one, people are going to die. really cool premise to kick things off with, especially if he's assembling a team of heroes. No real kick of the power company though, and I'm not really familiar with this Stewart, but me likes. Ariella really sells the artwork, and it works really good. A great story here. You guys want to talk about that one, or should I just go through all four?
Uh,
You can
Go
keep
for it.
going.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, the next story is Vixen and Bolt in the Ring of Power. Written by Zipporah Smith and art from Kelsey Ramsey with colors from Francesco Segala. The Humanity First movement is sweeping through the areas of the country, and it just so happens to be headed toward Malik White's hospital, or the one that he works at. Malik is the reluctant heir to Black Adam's powers. He's a descendant of Black Adam. He was given a ring that gave him his powers, but was for the purpose of curing his nth metal poisoning, and it also gave him the powers to transform into White Adam. If you miss that awesome story, you get to say that you missed out on an awesome story. He's no longer nth metal toxic, but he wonders why he just hasn't taken it off yet. He's got no interest and hasn't used the ring since then. Um, Last time he had some powers, things weren't exactly the greatest. So the Black Adam series by Christopher Priest and Rafa Sandoval in 2022 is what I'm talking about. If you don't know, you really should check it out. It was awesome. Don't listen to Brandon. I think he hated it. Uh, but anyway, went from White Adam, settled on later, and that's what this is. Anyway, right before the Humanity First movement breaches the hospital's walls, as in these people literally knocked down a huge section of the hospital wall and then said, "Relax, we're only here for the metas." Yeesh. Um, Hell of an entrance for some supposedly peaceful stuff going on there. Right before then, Vixen pops in and she's been outside fighting as they've made their way there. She says, "Deal with the fact that you got powers, basically, and get out here and save these people." He does, but not before the goddess of destiny pulls him aside into this mystical realm. She's one of the Akkad, a new group of gods that were actually born from the evil of Black Adam, but they are learning to be better than him, and they've learned how to move the power from the ring that was given to him directly to him himself. Now he needs only say the word, like the other Shazam members. He comes back and helps Mari take the Humanity First freaks out, and then the story wraps up. I obviously really like the origin and introduction of Malik, and I'm glad to see him back. Vixen is a good character to pair him with, and soon there's going to be more, and I'm looking forward to it. The art was great, if that was Copic alcohol-based markers, and I'm really thinking that it was. It's really, really good stuff. And that was the second story. Um, Cyborg and Green Lantern in unfinished business. You guys are killing me here. Written by John Jennings with art from Canon White
It's not
and Adigan Ilhan with colors from Andrew Dahlhaus. Way up high in the Justice League Watchtower, Cyborg and Green Lantern Joe Moline are hanging together in this one. Cyborg giving her the tour. They're confiding in each other. Joe that she hasn't been back to see her family or friends since she became a Green Lantern. She just poofed and never said goodbye, so they probably all think she's dead. Cyborg, his anger towards his dad stopped him from having a lot of conversations that he could have had with him, and tells her, so maybe you should reach out. You don't want the same thing to happen to you. They get called for an emergency response. It's Despero. He plays with Joe's mind about the feelings of her loved ones, but she overcomes it and knocks him silly before deciding to heed Cyborg's advice. Feels like Joe would have experienced a boom tube before. Am I nuts? She acts like or the story says that she's never gone through one, but I mean, she's been a big part of big stories before. It just surprised me if that's the truth. Other than that, fun stuff for what is like a one-off adventure. Though so far, I feel like the others kind of established the characters in them, and this was more like a. If it kind of felt like an anthology story, just something that wouldn't normally be a big thing, just a kickoff of something, and when everything else in the book is connected like that, this kind of stands out not doing it. Not a huge thing. The art is good. It takes a lot for me to be okay with the Sparrow, not because I'm a fan or anything. He's just a really, really dumb looking character, and most of the time it's hard to take him seriously as any kind of something worth any sort of interest. Like low subcategory D class villain, can't believe somebody's using him silly. This was good. So I'm uh, I'll give that my stamp of approval on that one. And then finally the fourth story. Batman, not Batman. Fans will know. Batman and Signal in the Dynamic Duo, written by Vita Ayala, with Ray Anthony Height and art and colors from Chris Sotomayor. The book kicks off with Batman getting called an off-color bootleg, which is like, I mean, like, damn. And then he's surrounded by a bunch of henchmen. It just so happens that daytime Bat Fam The Signal is doing a night patrol in New York City. New York City. Um, and he sees this happening. He swoops in and falls in to follow the flow of fighting that the Bat Fam had, been trained in. Uh, and to use routinely. And Signal just assumes that Jace has been trained like this. Obviously, I mean, he's Batman, but Jace has not. He's been completely trained otherwise, totally different, military first. Still, Signal helps him clean up, and while they kind of at first fumble all over each other, they eventually start moving like a well-oiled machine and adapt to each other. Jace yells about it and then leaves, but Signal is like, "Oh hell no, dude! That was worse than Red Hood. Who do you think you are?" And then they like get some respect for each other. Um, um, Jace apologizes. Signal is like starts sharing what it is like to be a Bat Fam of color and the way that the public look at him. How on top of being a target as a Bat Fam, he's got extra weight to carry. And then they play spades. And man, oh god, I haven't played spades in so long. But back in the day, I used to play 2, 3, and 4 player spades as well as bidwist and euchre. I miss cards. I used to play them all the time. Anyway, looks like it's time for the Signal to shine and for Batman to get his former Robin, you could say Robin-esque, but not currently a Robin partner, if you will. It's it ends Signal. It ends back with looking at Josiah Powers' watch with just under 3 hours left until kaboom. He's talking to Socrates, Deadeye, once the name of Cole Cash in a Wildstorm universe, and appeared as other characters in other universes, but we've seen him around here. Now he is Amanda Waller's nephew, Deadeye, aka Archie. Serious bad guy's first name, excuse me, Archie. Never can trust one of those for sure. He's telling Josiah that there's no one better to lead this team, a man that wants to be the perfect role model. So there's maybe Cyborg, but I don't think so, but maybe. Vixen, aka Mari McCabe, Bolt, formerly White Adam, aka Malik White, Green Lantern Joe Moline, Deadeye Archie Waller, Batman Not Batman and Signal, Jace Fox and Duke Thomas, with Black Lightning Jefferson Pierce as a team leader, funded by Josiah Power because, well, you gotta have somebody funding it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
for me, holy shit, it's gonna be epic. analog it, Cyborg maybe, okay, Animal Man powers with Wonder Woman-esque personality, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Batman and Robin, and a Shazam, a guy with Superman powers that will only use them responsibly. And then a guy with Omega level powers that has the heart of Superman, and someone that will pay for everything. So it's a non-affiliated with the Justice League Ultimate or Unlimited Justice League. Super cool. Plus, I mean, there's those the regular Unlimited team, plus to a lesser extent the Titans, and then the ever-present likelihood that we'll see a Team Groom popping up eventually. Overall, man, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with this, and hope it's something that carries forward. I really think it's cool because it steps out of the purview of Clark and Bruce, and has people with the ability to tell them no and back it up. And it gives me the replacement Justice League with a lot of members that I asked for. Though now I do want to see Yara Flor and maybe Avery. Definitely Avery, and yes, both of them. I got to give it a 9 out of 10, which feels weird for an anthology book. Its stories and art were really good, but not like amazing. What gets it a 9 is that these stories, with Joe Maline's kind of the exception, except letting me know that she's going to be there, which I like, is that it was able to get me so excited for whatever is coming down the pipeline with this cast of characters. I'm looking forward to it, man. 9 out of 10 all day long.
So I didn't know this was going to be an anthology book when it was first announced. I thought this was going to be like a Power Company precursor, right, under the DC Power line, because it is Black History Month and they do DC Power every February. But I thought there was going to be a separate DC Power anthology book. So I fucked up. Sorry. I didn't realize. Josh, if you're tired, I am so sorry, bud. I feel like he's passed out. But all in all, so Josh, I am so sorry, dude. I read it this morning. I'm like, oh, fuck. I got to the first page where I had the table of contents. I'm like, oh no, Josh is gonna kill me.
God damn it. Brandon, did you read this book?
I did read this book, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was well. Wait, Rob, did you read this book or?
I did, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I
Yeah.
didn't want to interrupt you first.
It's going to be quick anyway. Like, I wasn't going to cover every story separately. I'm going to grade it as a whole book. It's a very interesting premise, which is Power, and showing us what's essentially going to be the new roster for the Power Company is a hell of a damn good roster. I did get a little tricked at the end when they teased Black Lightning going to be the leader. I'm like, how the fuck is this guy going to balance all that stuff?
Oh, what
Basically
stuff?
running the Justice League. He's got his
Black
family
Lightning?
stuff, Black Lightning, and
He
he's
ain't
gonna
running the
run
Justice
Power
League.
Company. No, but he's like a premier member on the Justice League.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
I have a feeling he's going to be leaving here after his last encounter with Superman and Batman and the experiences he had with his daughter. I imagine
Maybe.
he's going to be pulling up his kids and getting the fuck out of Dodge. And now he has his own Justice League to lead. And that
Yeah.
is what makes me happy. I can't wait to see what happens here. We just need a Wonder Woman and Flash, and that's Yara Flor and Avery. Done. Sold. Ugh. I need an ongoing. Sorry, carry on.
I mean, you got a point. Yeah, it kind of works. I don't know if you need a Flash anymore.
You don't really. They're not. They don't have to recreate the Justice League.
Yeah, no, I mean,
original
no, you're
Power
right.
Company
They've
was kind of just a collection of random
Plus-
edits. And also, well, I'll get into that later. But like,
plus
Manhunter
just
was there. He didn't have any powers.
yeah, and plus, I mean, Bolt is super crazy fast.
Yeah.
Just Signal. Oh gosh, I've been sitting here reading it, didn't see any sign of it whatsoever. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything, considering the kind of story that it was. But has he canonically lost his powers yet?
They
I
really
don't
said,
think
but
so.
I don't think anyone really kind of wanted to use his powers. I think we all
Okay, they're just kind of just gone, forgotten,
Yeah, it
and
was just
that's
kind of
just where we're going.
I mean,
Okay.
I was always kind of fuzzy on what they even really did.
Well, at the first part, I mean,
some
nobody
aspect
really
of being
knew.
able to pull light into his body or something like that.
To be well,
Made
he
no
could pull
sense.
light into his body, but also be able to control and manipulate shadow and emit that light back out.
Yeah, but not
Uh,
as focused
but
beams, a la any other character with light-based powers. It's not like
right,
Doctor Light or something. It's just like he's just like a
Like a human
vacuum,
flashlight.
basically. Yeah,
right.
pull it in and push it out.
Suck it up, buddy.
Signal
Hence the
exchange.
name Signal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. But now it's just, hey, guess what? I'm wearing bright colors. I'm the new guy.
I mean, they definitely had some interesting stuff going on with him for a while.
Duke
When
Toppins?
I
Yeah,
think
for
they were
sure.
trying to, but
yeah, like when he was like the daytime Gotham
Yeah.
hero, or that time when they were starting up stuff with the Outsiders, and then he had like a new manifestation of his powers where he could see in a certain wavelength of light or something like that, and then that never went anywhere. It's a
Yeah.
damn shame. So I really do hope that the power company lasts a good long while, if not just for the Bat family members that are in this on this team, because they both got fucking shafted. Let's face it.
Yeah.
They really did.
Yeah.
I couldn't care about Deadeye, but the fact that, I mean, he's a Green Arrow analog for sure. And then
I was surprised to see him.
it's got a really good. I mean, I was too, but okay, because
It's a cool idea.
he didn't like working for his aunt the way that
No.
he was making him. That was evident from the get go. So this is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, have him
Bolt,
be a
I think, is
force for
cool.
good now.
Yeah,
Bolt is
having
cool. I forgot he
Vixen there is
existed.
sick. Well, yeah, that's because y'all didn't read the series when I told you how great it was.
I did read the series,
Yeah,
but
we
that
were
was also
reading it
like
for the
2
show.
years ago.
I think no, it was honorable mentions.
It became honorable mention.
Yeah, we were reviewing like
Issues
half
we
of
were
it.
reading. Yeah, might
Vixen
have even been more than
is
that.
cool as shit. Yeah, I think y'all fell off like after the first or second issue.
Nah, I finished it.
No,
Did
yeah,
you really?
no.
It was
Yeah,
I didn't
it was
finish
awesome.
it, but yeah, I think I read as much as we were meant to.
As much as we were meant to. That's a nice way to put it.
It was the kind of story that it had its purpose at the time. It did its thing, and then it disappeared, and so did everything that happened in it. And then other shit happens. You just kind of forget about it.
Yeah.
No Bulls
I mean,
back, yay.
Black Adam showed up in like Teth Adam showed up in. Well, actually, it was around the same time, wasn't it? Because like that series happened at the same time Justice League 75 came out, and I remember
Yeah,
there being a
yeah, it was
couple
like
of
right in the
Yeah.
middle of the series.
Yeah,
Yup.
he had just survived death in quotation marks, and well, not really death, but more like death of the Justice League came back to Earth, and that series started around that same time.
Yeah.
And it
But I
was
think canonic like timeline
supposed to
wise,
take
I think
place
it took
before,
place
yeah.
before, yeah.
yeah,
It took place during Bendis's run on Justice League, technically.
yeah. Although I have no memory of whether or not Bolt showed up during any of the events of Dark Crisis.
I don't believe he did.
No, I don't
Might have
think
been in
he
one
did.
of the one shots, but I, can't really. Remember.
To my knowledge, he has not.
Yeah.
But don't trust my memory. I don't know. It's in a book. Take a look. It's fucking
Reading
comics.
Rainbow. Interesting pairings and all the different mini stories here, though. I really like it. It's really cool to see Jace Fox team up with any member of the Bat family, but especially Signal because, like I said, he got shafted a lot. So it's really
He's
cool to
always
see
left to the
him
side,
doing some
even more
stuff.
so than Batwoman. Yeah.
Yeah, at least Batwoman has stories.
That's what I'm saying. He's even more so. He's like even more so than Power Girl.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like he
Duke
gets
Thomas only
shit
shows up when Batman, when they say the whole Bat family's here to help out, and then he's just there in the background with one of the Batgirls. Like that's it. Like
Right.
that's the only
And
time
for the
he's
love
ever in the
of
story.
God, can we move forward? Can we get rid of the yellow part of his helmet? Fix it. Do something
it
with
looks
it.
like two Batman kissing.
The forehead. No, the forehead just looks weird, man. The forehead just looks weird. I mean, just there you can just put it like you can have the top or whatever come down, cover his eyes, something. Just do something else.
But it's
Put
gotta
an
be
put an
Bat
open
shape.
cowl. Put an open cowl on him, like Wally style.
That'd be fucking weird. I don't know. With the ears?
Lose the ears.
With the bat ears?
Lose the ears.
But he's bat themed.
He doesn't have to be anymore.
But he's the bat signal.
He get a little bit of a bad thing going on with the mask. Just lose the ears. He's barely got ears to begin with.
Yeah.
Get rid of the others.
Maybe.
Looks weird.
Maybe.
Looks weird.
I could see it. I really like his tonfas though, his bat tonfas.
Keep those for sure.
Yeah.
Keep
those
the
are
rest of
cool.
everything. The rest of his outfit is awesome. Just lose the top part. That just looks silly. It makes his forehead look dumb. That's my problem.
I'm going to give this an 8.75 out of 10.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Good stuff. You guys think Cyborg's on the team or no?
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
I hope so.
All the characters. I mean, presumably all the characters featured in the short stories.
Yeah.
Will be in the new iteration
that's
of the
what I
Power
figured.
Company, which I guess my main, not gripe, but I guess my main question for this one shot is, first and foremost, what exactly is going to be the objective of this new iteration of the Power Company? Because I'm not
That's
sure.
a good point.
To be honest, I'm not sure I am really the expert on this. Josh, you probably might remember more than I do, because honestly, all I really remembered about the Power Company until I did a little bit more reading and research was the ads from like 2003, the old DC books that had like 16 pages of it, and I would always look at it and skip it because I was like, oh, Tom Grummett, cool. Kurt Busiek, cool. Next, like, I was like, I just want to keep reading fucking JLA or whatever it was.
I remember enjoying the Power Company. My memory's not going to let me spit it back out to you right now, but I remember enjoying it. But what I also understand is that this is not going to really be that same kind of Power Company.
I guess that's kind of what I'm wondering, because
Josiah Stone is a good guy
what I
here. And
remember,
he was not. He was like almost a Lex Luthor-esque.
That's the thing. I don't really remember being a villain so much as it was like his whole story was that he had turned. He'd previously been a lawyer and then basically set up the Power Company as a for-hire based team to kind of become a hero again. But that was a point of contention to some heroes because they're like, you're doing this, but you're still making a profit off of it, which is questionable. Which I know is something that they
like Lex Luthor
address in this. But I'm wondering, is it still going to, like, what is the objective if he's not doing the for-profit team? What is the hope or something like that? And then I'm also wondering, like, what happened to the rest of the original? Where did they go? I know the Manhunter at the time, I think, was killed in the Manhunter series from 2004 when what's his face was killing all the previous Manhunters. But I'm like, what happened to Skyrocket and Striker Z and what was her name? Hellfire? Witchfire. Witchfire. Like, where are they? Where did they go? Are they around? It would be cool to see them show up if they are indeed
little cameos
into an ongoing thing. But I'm wondering also if there's any connection, or because I appreciate that they're maybe trying to do a well, I mean, the original Power Company was somewhat diverse, but
I think that this Power Company is. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm wondering what, if any, connections they're going to make. aside from Josiah Powers' history, of course, to the previous iteration of the team, the main team of the power company, and I don't know if there'll be any connections there, something like that, because it very much is stated that that was a part of his history. But I'm wondering,
Yes, and I think that the
what
only
what happened,
I think that the only thing that we're gonna see is references to whether or not he can be trusted, and I mean his pure motivation is that it is time to fight against corruption and injustice after Waller killed his nephew.
I see.
That's what I'm assuming here is like he's ready to take on like and do his own version of the Justice League, one that he knows will do right by everyone. And that's why they want somebody who wants to be the world's perfect role model for everybody. And that's why they want Jefferson Pierce. It's a
Yeah.
literal, real, traditional Justice League fight against injustice across the country kind of classic thing, and we've got great characters to make that happen with. I'm fucking stoked, dude.
It would be interesting to see the Kate Spencer Manhunter be a part of this team. I know that probably wouldn't
Ooh,
fit because I know they're. It seems like, and to a very positive credit, this is a more like diverse focus. Again, I know the original Power Company was somewhat diverse, but like this one is focused more on
I mean, solely.
promoting African American heroes, which is a great
Mhm.
thing. Um,
They
but
made an entire Justice
it
League,
sounds
man.
so
So fucking cool.
clinical when I say it like that. But I don't know. Not to say that I'm like some uber fan of the original series from '02, because I think most people probably would not call it like a forgotten classic. Like I think there's a reason that it's not a series that they've talked about very much. So I can understand why they kind of want to just take the name and pretty much revamp everything. But I always,
Right.
being the continuity brained person that I am, I always kind of wonder what the connections are to the past, and want to see if there's any uh, literally continuity between the previous events of the series and what happens now. If not just mentions of the fact that the previous one broke up and Josiah has found himself with new powers. So
Yeah,
um,
it is uncontrollable powers and having to prove that he's not that guy anymore. I think that's what
right,
we're going to be
yeah.
looking at from his side of the story.
Yeah, maybe Green Arrow will show up again. I only really got about 4 or 5
But we
issues
got Deadeye. We don't need Green
into
Arrow.
the series. Oh, no. I mean, Green Arrow wasn't a part of the original Power Company. He just kind of showed up and like lectured them because they were fucking up. I think Firestorm was a part of the team very briefly, but that's probably the issues I haven't gotten to yet. That's assuming I ever finish the rest of the series. But yeah, I don't know. I also wonder if I don't want to sound mean spirited. This is like the last thing I'll say, but I don't want to sound mean spirited. But I also wonder if this isn't like the more safe route. And when I say that, like there were a handful of characters that were part of the original lineup that were created solely for the purpose of that book. I think they first showed up in like JLA or something. So it was, it was betting a lot on like, oh, it's Kurt Busiek. He's going to do this team of like half new heroes, half like established D-list heroes that you probably don't even know of, like Manhunter. And
Right.
yeah, we'll
Right.
throw Firestone in towards the end of the series because it's probably not selling that well. But this one is very much like everyone knows Cyborg. Everyone knows, Green Lantern, if not specifically Joe Mullane. Everyone knows, well, maybe Signal a
Vixen.
little less, but they're more recognizable than some of the new characters. So I'm wondering if this isn't
They
like
took they took
like
away the ring
we're gonna
from
play this a
Malik.
little bit safe. We're gonna have characters that have already been established but could use maybe a little more attention and give them
Well,
something to do, which I think is a solid idea. But yeah, I'm wondering if that's why they wouldn't go all the way and just create a bunch of new a new diverse lineup of characters. Like I'm thinking of like if how Marvel's doing their new Champions book right now, and that's a whole
it's a whole
whole
new team.
new lineup of
Yeah.
sidekicks. So as opposed to
Kinda
doing that, they're
surprised
like,
me.
But
let's
they've
just
got these characters there that are just never being really utilized in a
Well,
good,
that's what I
great
just
way.
said. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
ones
it's
that necessarily don't have as
100%.
much attention, but they're not going the full way of like, well, you've never heard of Skyfire, you've never heard of Skyrocket, you've never heard of Striker Z, you've never heard of what's the other dude's name? I can see his costume, but I can't remember it. You never heard of any of these people because they showed up in one issue of JLA, but you're gonna love them. So yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I think there's
I mean,
it's an interesting idea.
it
We'll see.
feels like it's still kind of going along that same line, and it's not to say that there might not be any original characters created once the
Yeah.
series gets going, right? But they're kind of like testing that water. You got these three established popular characters with Joe Moline, Cyborg, and Vixen, and then you're testing the waters with three established characters that most people at this point will have forgotten about, like Jace Fox, Signal, and Bolt. And you're bringing those three back into the forefront along with the other three that are already established, making those three more popular. And then once the whole team is like established, start throwing in some new characters, right?
Yeah, you got
Yeah,
Black Lightning
possible.
and Deadeye to be Green Arrow, and you're good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
we'll,
excited to see Black Lightning lead that shit.
I
Yeah.
have a feeling it's not going to happen, but I could
Yeah,
see your
I
side of
could
it too.
see someone taking on a different role. I'm honestly surprised that I don't know, Signal wouldn't do it or something. You know, someone who might have a little experience in working on a team and maybe wants to try leading for a bit.
I wouldn't mind if Vixen was leader, because wasn't she?
Oh yeah,
the
she was
Justice League leader
leading the
for a while?
Justice Foundation and the Justice League of America from
Yeah,
Rebirth. Yeah.
yeah.
Or well, I guess technically Batman was the leader,
Technically, but he was
but
more of like a liaison,
Vixen-
like he was for the
more like a
Outsiders.
supervisor.
Yeah.
Vixen was like the field leader, basically.
Yeah,
But
he
she
was a
like officially.
supervisor.
This is another unfulfilled potential, but that book ended with the Justice Foundation that she was co-leading alongside the new Freedom Beast,
Right.
and just seemingly nothing ever came out of it. I think maybe they like showed up in a short story or something somewhere, but that idea was never expanded upon, which is kind of a shame because it really felt like they had set her up to be, you know, a proper leader of a Justice League team. So yeah,
It's a
I can
damn
definitely
shame.
see that too. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I would love to see Vixen in a leadership role because she could
Yeah.
handle it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had almost forgotten that.
I can totally see a few people just turning to Jace and be like, "You're Batman. Why don't you lead?" I'd be like, "Nah,
No, that's someone.
no.
else.
I've been
I
doing
really
this
hope
too
it's
for like
Black
3
Lightning.
weeks. No,
Yeah.
I really hope it's Black Lightning. He puts everybody above. I mean, he could be this team's Superman.
he could be.
I mean,
I just-
it's
that
been
would take,
established
like-
that he's got
A lot.
like
Issues
he's
with the
super
Justice
well.
League.
I mean, that, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
he's like, oh God, help! I can't remember where it was, but he's like, what they call it, an Omega level power.
Like mutants.
He's an Omega level mutant.
Yeah, where they were throwing those words around. It was back
Yeah,
when
like
Bendis was
he's-
writing, and like
He's a high power.
Like
Yeah,
he was just as powerful, or if not more powerful than Superman. Like remember when he rose up and was really pissed off at Batman, and Superman was like, "I don't know if I can hold him back."
Yeah.
Yeah, I get the feeling he's probably going to stay on the Justice League. It feels like they are too attached that having him as part of the like main lineup to let that go.
Yeah.
And I don't want this to turn into like fucking what's that book, Justice League Elite, where Ollie leaves the team
Oh,
and
God.
forms his own crap Justice League.
Oh, Jesus.
I no, just no. Like you're doing great work on the Justice League, and I'm sure all the personal issues will be resolved at the end of the Black Lightning miniseries. Like, just keep them in check. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't go off and start a Justice League with fucking Manchester Black, who's dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. Who the hell else was on that team? That book was
Holy shit.
awful.
Wasn't there like some woman with red sunglasses or something?
Let me see.
No.
Yes,
No.
yeah. Oh my god,
There was, right?
I don't even remember her name.
No, I don't either. I just going through all my dad's comics. I'm finding random issues of Justice League Elite, and I see her on the
Ugh.
cover every so often. Like, who is this?
Yeah.
She looks interesting.
I don't even remember reading Justice League Elite. I know it exists, but I don't remember reading.
It was basically
You remember
Outsiders.
the '90s Titans?
Yeah. Well, which one are you talking about? Like the
Like the-
relaunch Titans or Dan
The one
Jurgens
with
Titans?
like Roy is the team leader.
Oh yeah, that's like
Yeah, it's
towards
like
the end of the
that,
new Teen Titans lifespan.
but Justice League.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's like
that basically
it's like
calling itself the
Outsiders,
Justice League, or just that kind of
Stormwatch
story.
Black, like the whole like we're the
Oh.
team that's gonna do the stuff that the Justice League won't.
Yeah,
we're
the
gonna get our
Justice
hands
League
dirty,
covert
that
ops.
kind of crap. And I was like, oh god, enough.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Young Justice.
Just like call it the Outsiders and call it a day. Oh wait, they can't do that because Nightwing and Roy Harper were leading the Outsiders at the time. So it wouldn't So you need yet another clandestine team who will handle the problems the Justice League won't, or whatever the fuck they're classifying it as now. There's like a million teams.
How many Justice Leagues have there been?
Variations of the title Justice League.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's Justice League, Justice League of America, Justice League Europe,
Does
Justice League
JLA
International,
Justice League. What is it?
Elite.
Does JLA count?
I would say
there was a series JLI, yes or no?
JLI, yeah.
Justice
League
League,
International.
Yeah, Justice League Task Force, which is another awful series. I assume. I've never read it. I don't think I
would you count Justice League United? Because it wasn't really called Justice League United.
JLA,
yeah,
Justice
I mean,
League Europe,
well,
Justice League International, JLI.
The ending that I remember
Justice
from
League
the
Elite,
new
Justice League
52 JLA series, which I know was like leading into
Justice League Detroit,
United, was
Justice League
was
Detroit.
that they were like Stargirl and Martian Manhunter were going off with the intention of starting another Justice League. I think.
Yeah,
it was
Justice League.
So I would count that because it very much was like we want to have a team.
No, it wasn't Justice League, but I mean, would you count it as Justice League United as a separate title because United wasn't officially part of the title? Right, United was really just the name of the story arc, the first story arc, and that like the first cover had Justice League United, but then every issue after that was just called.
This is the difference of 10 or 11.
Wasn't it still called Justice League United, or am I tripping? Because I thought they had that crossover with not crossover. They had that story with a Legion of Superheroes, and I remember that still being called Justice League United.
Excuse me.
Yeah, because it was Justice League of
I really
America
gotta stop doing
at
that
the
on
same
air.
time. That was the one with Vixen and Batman.
Vixen and Batman.
Shit! If only I could find my copy of the first volume.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at Comic Vine, and all of them still had the United title.
They did.
All right,
okay, so yeah, so United was on there too.
Fucking
right,
Maple Leaf Canadian.
Okay, so there's
best team ever.
There's Justice League of America, JLA, Justice League Europe, Justice League
hang on. Pause. Why do you have JLA and Justice League of America?
Because we've had both titles.
No, but I mean like.
Because there's been a book literally related.
Different variations of the name Justice League. Because JLA is just a short form of Justice League of America.
Okay, so we'll take that one off then. Justice League of America. Damn it. Justice League of America, Justice League Europe, Justice League International, Justice League Extreme, Justice League Elite, Justice League Dark Justice League. Damn it, what was the one you were just talking about?
United,
and Detroit, and then
did you get Europe?
Yes.
Okay.
Right there. So 9.
and Justice League 3000 and
And,
3001.
Justice League. Okay, Justice League
But if we're,
3000.
I was about to
Was there
make a
Justice League
comment,
1,000,000?
If we're yes,
They were called Justice Legion A, though.
Yeah, but
The
if
Justice
we're
Legion A.
using that logic, couldn't you technically count Justice League Beyond? But they were just
and
called the
yes.
Justice League. They didn't call themselves, like, they didn't refer to themselves as we're part of the Beyond universe. They were just the
No, but I
Justice
think
League.
didn't they have a different name as well? They weren't called the Justice League then, I thought.
Oh, that's true. They did. What the
Pretty
hell was
sure
it?
Let me see.
No. They were like Justice Society or something.
Yeah, it was
No.
some other Justice name.
Hang on.
Team name of Justice League Beyond.
This is when we all go to Google.
I mean, I have the title here, but it doesn't say anything of whether or not they refer to it.
Well, there was so there was a book
I
called
was
Justice
pretty sure
League
they just
Beyond.
called it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were like while they were in the league, they just called it the Justice League. And I also, I mean, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do remember there's that episode of
It was
that
just called the
Beyond
Justice League.
where
It was,
they
right?
they invite Terry to join their Justice League, but they don't call it JLB. They call it just the Justice League.
Well, yeah, not
That was my. That was
Okay,
my
not
so-
Beyond as the subtitle, but I thought they called it like Justice Legion or something.
So no Justice League Beyond. Now, does that count as a separate title, considering it's completely separate characters in a different universe?
Well, that's the thing. I don't. That's what I'm not really sure what our basis might be, because like Justice League 3000 might fall into the same principle in that.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
didn't call
literally just looking
themselves
for like
that.
anything that's Justice League something.
Yeah.
So I would count Justice League Beyond, Justice League Unlimited,
Fuck it.
All right,
Fuck it.
so then it's 13.
13.
I'm not gonna try and
And
rationalize.
I
Justice
honestly
League. Look, there's
feel like
Justice
we're
League
missing
3000,
Yeah.
Justice League 3000, Justice League 1,000,000, and Justice League Beyond puts us at 13.
I don't think it was officially called Justice League 1,000,000 though. Was there?
Yeah. No. I
Justice
think you were
League
right.
A,
It was
right?
Justice
It was Justice Legion
A.
A.
Justice
Yeah.
Legion. Well, does that count as a variation of Justice League?
Wouldn't.
Well, then it's 12.
Maybe. But by that logic, you could count fucking Earthman's Justice League from the Legion of Superheroes.
No, that's different.
And the freaking White Martian team from Grant Morrison's
Oh,
JLA run. What do they call themselves?
I don't think they called themselves the Justice League, but they were the Hyper Clan.
That's it,
Hyperclan,
Hyperclan,
yes.
Yeah, so no,
Yeah.
that doesn't count. No.
You cannot. Yeah, no.
No. Okay, there's a lot of Justice Leagues, and I still feel like
Yeah.
I said, I still feel like we're missing some. We're forgetting some. You know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna do it. If we're missing any, say it in the comments.
Tell me how wrong I am.
Send us an email. Join our Discord and tell us, please, because I want to know.
For sure.
Yeah,
No.
Justice League of Earth.
Yeah, that was the Earthman Justice League. I was talking about.
Oh,
I don't know if that counts, but
No.
Oh, hang on. What was that friggin' book that was like 4 different teams, and it had to do with Kolu, and it was like a precursor to...
New Justice.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what it was. Okay, it's just like New Justice. Yeah,
Oh,
but
wait a minute. Is that what
didn't
it's
each
called?
of the teams have a different name?
Yeah, there was like Team Wonder, Team Mystery, Team.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Oh, damn.
Okay, so it's
my
not like the
assholes.
Justice League team.
No, that wasn't one of them. What was another one? No.
Earthman,
Was it
Golden
just
Boy,
a slip
Radiation
by
Boy,
asshole?
Spider Girl,
I think it was. I think that was Superman's too.
Huh.
Justice League, my
It just
ass.
doesn't sound like it.
Asshole.
Interesting.
Wow. Did Jeff Johns know that he was ripping off Marvel when he created Justice League
Yeah.
of Earth? Because he's got a character named Spider Girl, and her name is Susapaka.
Uh-huh.
I don't think so, but weird coincidence.
And she has super strong prehensile hair, which is also
Yeah.
red.
I whip my hair back and forth.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was not New Justice. It was No Justice. New Justice was the initiative.
No,
Just had to double check that.
right, no
Yeah.
justice. Radiation Roy. He emits radiation.
He
Really?
does.
Shit.
Who would have saw that?
Golden
They
Boy.
were
He
all
can change the structure of any element in school just by
they
touching
were
them.
all
What?
rejects
The-
of
You had a perfect
Okay,
name
here's the thing,
to
right?
do with Midas or a king, and you go with
You're-
Golden
you're,
Boy.
You're
What
wondering
the-
like why the hell these people aren't just on the Legion of Superheroes, like normal people. They're
Why
visiting
in
as
the hell they're
normal
not on
people.
Legion of Substitute superheroes?
Well, that's the thing. They couldn't even. Well, first of all, they're like, we don't want to be with the scrubs who couldn't even make it. But we also our like mental profiles are not solid enough to be a part of the Legion of Superheroes. They're going to turn our ass away because we're too unstable. And then
Oh,
10, 15
Earthman's got
years
a
from
pretty dope
now,
power.
we're going to, try and take over the Legion or take over Earth by basically getting rid of the Legion when they're at their most vulnerable.
That's what I said.
Read all that in
Oh.
Superman and the Legion of Superheroes.
Oh,
which is
what?
a great story.
The shit. Earthman recruits the group claiming that Superman is a human and convincing Earth to turn against him and other
Yes.
aliens.
The iconic.
Wow.
I'm
Okay,
for
so
everyone
he's
line
a
comes in.
dick.
Oh yeah, big time. But
Oh,
the
okay.
prejudice was really just a mask for his own insecurity at not making the Legion of Superheroes.
And in response, Timberwolf and Lightning Lass establish an interstellar, in quotations, underground railroad for aliens to escape
Yes.
Earth. What the
Because
fuck?
basically the Legion had been run out at that point. Like
Yeah, they're branded
after
as
the
fugitives.
after the Lightning Saga, when Dawnstar and
Oh god, that was such a good story.
why am I what's his name?
Dawnstar and
Wildstar
Karate Kid.
and Karate Kid. Wildfire. What is wrong with me today?
Wildfire.
All come back to the past and
They
they're like, we
go to
need
the
you
past.
for something, whatever. Like, that whole thing. They go back to the future. Then the future's fucked because Earthman and his Justice League attacks, and then Superman gets a message via Brainiac 5 that's like, you need to come to the future now because we're fucked and we don't know what's happening. And then he gets there and he's like, no, you were not supposed to come here because they trapped Sunboy in the sun. So Earth's sun right now is red, so you have no powers. So basically he has no powers the entire story, but yet still has to help the Legion.
Yep, sounds about right.
Oh shit! Okay, so that's
Yeah.
what happened. Oh, and that was all in action
All in
comics
Action
too. So it
Comics.
wasn't even in like the Legion of Superheroes. Interesting.
I
And then apparently in Final Crisis, Earthman, Golden Boy, Storm Boy, and Tusker joined Superboy Prime's Legion of Supervillains.
in Final Crisis.
So they
Legion
were
of
all
Superheroes,
dickheads.
Yeah, but hilariously, the Legion of Superheroes series that follows that has Earthman trying to figure out how to be a part of the Legion because their solution is like, fuck it, we'll just make him a part of the Legion of Superheroes now. I think he starts sleeping with Shadow Lass or something. That run
my
is
God.
a little all over the place, but
Jesus. Well
Yeah.
then. I don't know if I want to count Justice League of Earth now.
But
Told
it's
ya.
technically a Justice League of the
It's a
Future,
little
so
messed up.
we're counting Beyond
It
and we're
is.
counting 3000. I had to throw
Yeah.
that one in there too.
Fair enough.
Honest,
Okay. That's enough Justice
Yeah.
League talk. We're not even covering Justice League this week.
but they are going to be a part of our next book, I guess, a little bit.
And technically so, yeah.
They're in a splash page.
Yeah.
Should I go ahead, or do we have any more comments?
Yeah. I'm good.
Superman Lex Luthor special number roll 1, written by Joshua Williamson
Of one.
with art by Eddie Barros and Aber Ferreira, colors from Adriano Lucas and letters from Dave Sharp. Features our amnesiac Lex Luthor going through life essentially without his memory and trying to wrestle with the fact that he has a new life with no memory, yet wants basically nothing to do with his previous life. All the while, Superman receives a message from Mr. Terrific to come to the Watchtower, where he basically talks about the fact that communications between our universe and the Elseworlds, now the Absolute Universe, the dark side infected Earth, has become impossible, basically. And the only person capable of coming up with a solution, who I guess could let themselves think so evilly that they would be able to think of a way to communicate with such an evil Earth, is Lex Luthor. But as we know, without his memories, he's not the Lex who would be capable of going to those depths and coming up with an answer. So we catch up with Lex over in Centennial Park, where he is catching the heat from the public, who's like, Lex Luthor, I fucking hate that guy. Naturally. Superman checks in with him, and they kind of have a back and forth regarding that Lex, while he is probably not very happy to be dealing with the public backlash, doesn't really see any reason to regain his memories and go back to the person that he once was, someone who was violent and vengeful and really caused a lot of pain and hurt, and asks a bit of a difficult question for Superman, and, you know, wonders if the world is better off without someone like Lex Luthor in it. And Clark, without the answers to that, basically just flies off and says, I shouldn't have been needling you to try and remember so fast. In addition to this, there is kind of a through line of backstory for Lex as we reestablish, I'd say, his relationship with his parents, his mother and father, showing that his mother kind of tried to foster his talents at an early age, while Lionel Luthor, as we know by now, was, you know, very abusive and drunk and kind of had no regards for his son. So much so that when his son actually tried to do something nice and build a radio for his father, he was completely upset and damn near threw him out of the house because of just how appalling his son's intellect was, in like a bad way. Not that Lex was not smart, but rather that his intellect was so terrifying that he was like, you know, I don't want him going anywhere else. And so we have another scene connecting Lex's backstory to Clark's backstory, in which he uses that radio signal to play the melody that we saw him practicing at the beginning of the issue, that somehow carries all the way to the Kent household and manages to pacify the baby Clark Kent. Something that we see Lex playing at the very end of this issue, as Superman and Superwoman are flying off and are informed by Mr. Terrific that the tech that he needs to communicate with the world has somehow arrived. And just as they're contemplating what that could mean, he hears the music and realizes that Luthor has started to remember. I think I covered everything. There was, well, I guess we'll get into it, but it felt like there was not a whole lot going on in this issue. I don't know how you guys felt, but I don't know. I just as a standalone issue featuring this memoryless amnesiac Lex Luthor, I thought it was fine, but ultimately my problem was, I already kind of talked about it in our Discord, or started to anyway, but also my problem was regarding Lex's backstory. Not that I was expecting anything, you know, crazy new or some crazy revelations, but when I saw it mentioned that they were going to get back into aspects of Lex's childhood, I was hoping that they would expand on some stuff that maybe we hadn't really got to see of, you know, in the past. Because we already kind of know about Lex's fraught relationship with his father. Anyone who's read Superman's Secret Origin already kind of knows that stuff, and they may have added some new scenes, but it didn't feel like anything we had seen before. And ultimately, it kind of felt like maybe they didn't live up to something that I'd hoped that they were going to dive into, which is Lex's relationship with his mother, which I feel like they only kind of like slightly poke at, but never really go into in any deeper way. Like, we know he has that kind of fraught relationship with Letitia, given that he exiled her on an island and pretended she was dead. But I was kind of hoping we might get a little bit more context as to how it happened that way. Like, if we're going to understand why Lex has such a fraught relationship with both of his parents, why not expand more on his mother? So that was one thing. Just felt like unfulfilled potential there. And then I guess the second would be that really it just felt too short. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but for me, at least when they build this as a special, I was kind of expecting it to be a little
bit more.
meatier. Yeah, a little meatier, but this was like, I don't know. This was the lean version. This was the light version. So it just felt like it should have
Well,
had more.
if it was a little meteor, it'd be irradiated,
Yeah, there you go.
and we can't have kryptonite in a Superman.
Might get sick. So yeah, I don't know. Really, those were my two biggest kind of gripes with this issue. Like, the art was great, and it is nice seeing Eddie Barrows do more stuff. I hear he's doing some Superman issues coming up, so that should be cool. But I just wish that this issue had gone a little deeper, a little harder, actually a lot harder, and really like made us care more for Lex in a way that I could attach to and wasn't something I'd already seen before. So that I could be like, damn, okay, I can see why Lex really wouldn't want to remember parts of him. Because even beyond, sorry, this will be the last bit, but even beyond his relationship with his parents, I was also kind of hoping we'd get more backstory for Lex's time, like as a person. You know, even going back to the Superman days, the early Superman days, or his time as a supposed science hero in Metropolis. Like, give me a little more Lex. You know what I'm saying? Give me a little more Lex in the cities is what I'm asking for. Give me a little more Lex backstory than just his parents were mean and he was very, very sad. I want that. I feel like that could be something interesting. It could have been, but ultimately that didn't happen in this issue, which is kind of a letdown. So I gave this one a 7.5 out of 10. Like, not bad, solid for what it is, but feels like there was untapped potential there. Okay, I'm done.
I feel like
I 100% agree.
I'm like, the art was really, really good.
I mean, I liked the story. I was expecting a lot more. It didn't feel like a special when it's called a special. It didn't have that special feel to it. Like I also mentioned in our Discord chat. It left me wanting more, especially the way it ended. You know, I get it's supposed to lead into more story, but it felt like it could have given us a bit more story here first.
I hate date issues.
I didn't even remember.
And I would have accepted advancing whatever's brewing between Lex and Mercy, for crying out loud. Something, anything.
Or even just more of that's another thing too. Like, even just more of amnesiac Lex. That is hard to say. Like, just, I don't know, what else has he got going on? If he's not working at Supercorp, and we know he's kind of dating Mercy, but like, what else? You know, I want to see more of his relationships with Lena, or like just more. It's as opposed to some flashbacks and he gets coffee thrown in his face.
Yeah, something.
Yeah,
something.
Right? Like, give us. Like, that's my biggest gripe. If you're gonna call it a special, give us a big thing. You know, give us more Lex Luthor as opposed to just like a shoehorned in side story.
Yada 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 yada. Plop. He remembered. That's that was a summary.
I mean, not even like we're missing a lot of the plot he's set up. That's the thing. I didn't even think about. I forgot about what Brandon was saying with past Lex being a quote unquote hero.
Well, I was
though I feel like at the same time we also got all the story we were going to get.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, because I had read this issue yesterday, and like was walking back from the bus station, and I was just thinking, like, God, I almost said what a load of bullshit, but like what a load of untapped potential. And I just kind of was going through my head of like all the stuff that could have potentially factored into this issue, and I remembered that there was the brief sequence is like all we got of Lex's supposed secret past of being a Metropolis hero, and I was like, that was such a killer idea that never developed into anything, or we never got to see any more of it.
Yeah.
Like that on its own could have been an arc. Lex's past
Yeah.
as, you know, Metropolis's top hero. What did he get into? What other villains did he face before he went into Dr. Farm and Dr. Graft? You know?
Lame. Is Joshua Williamson, and you thought it was a cool idea? Was Joshua Williamson going to carry all the way through on a long ran cool idea?
Well, unfortunately, I did have to. You were the first person who popped into my head. If that makes you feel better, where I was like, I honestly, I was like saying it to myself. I was like, oh my god, I'm about to pull a Joshua Murray here and be like, this feels like the unfortunate parts of Williamson stuff, where there's a really interesting concept that is not properly executed.
Yeah. Never mind.
Like literally, I was like, this is like the negative speed force. Where's this stuff again?
Yeah, negative speed force.
Like,
gone.
what an interesting idea.
The other
that
forces
lasted
gone.
for like 3 issues.
What happened?
Not
Never
brag,
mind.
like,
That's what happened.
There's more potential in it than, you know, a page or a sequence or 2 issues is what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yes,
it's almost like he comes up with these ideas that he thinks are just throwaway ideas and doesn't realize that the readers actually fucking love
that
them.
They have so much potential
and want more. And he thinks they're just like dumb ideas.
Because I was also thinking,
he's like, I'm just gonna throw these in to like move the plot along. I'm like, no, I want that
like,
to be
in
the
my
plot.
own cockiness. I was like, well, shit. How would I rewrite the Farm and Graft stuff, like that first arc, if I really wanted to kind of center Lex in it, which he was, but in a different way. And I probably would have had like the aspect of, as opposed to Lex being kind of cagey about his past, it's like, okay, shit, I need to reach a point of full clarity with Superman. So I'm going to walk you through what happened with my time in Metropolis. In addition to, we're still, you know, trying to figure out what the hell the mystery is of these 2 scientists or something. Like, I'm sure there's a better way that you can do it. I'm no expert by any means, but I would have shifted the focus to that a little bit more, so you can kind of get context for the fact that Lex has tried to be a hero way before, you know, he joined the Justice League or was Superman or any of that stuff. Like, he has this past and still ran into opposition there. So I don't know. I'm rambling, but the point is, I agree with you. That was an idea that people, maybe just me, thought could have been something in addition to other ideas that ultimately, I don't know, was forgotten or
never mind,
wayside, or no one cared. I don't know.
Yeah. But back to the story we did get. Glenn, longtime friend of the show.
Oh boy. Glenn, if you're listening,
resident Superman
expert.
Yeah, resident Superman expert, longtime friend of the show, good friend of ours. He had a theory about this. He did really enjoy this issue, love this issue. He said, specifically to Josh, he better not hear a bad word about it. Me and Brandon went, but he had an interesting idea that, based on the end of this, that he thinks that Lex always had his memory, never actually lost it, and was just pretending because he wanted to leave his past behind. Because as Superman said in this story, in this issue, that Lex, before he lost his memory, was actually trying to change and turn over a new leaf and be a better person. And if you think back to what Williamson was writing before, when Lex was trying to be a better person, people left, right, and center were saying, yeah, right, dude, fuck off, right? Nobody was believing him. Nobody was giving him any chances, and for good reason. And so maybe this is an opportunity for him. Oh, Brainiac took my memory. I don't remember any of this shit. And then he can just be the person he wants to be. If that's not the case, then that's another gripe I have with this issue, is that his memory return kind of just happens off panel, or is like really fucking loosely explained. Or I was expecting something a little bit bigger or a little more grandiose for Lex becoming the old Lex.
I wasn't expecting his memory to come
if it was
back
going to
in
happen.
This issue, but I was hoping that there would be a little bit more meat to him gradually getting some of his memories back. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the covers, him in a purple suit saying "Miss Me," that kind of screams old Lex is back.
Right? No beard. He's been sporting a beard as Amnesiac Lex.
Yeah. You want to change your persona? Grow a
Right.
beard.
But no hair.
Classic
Yep.
style.
Is Lex
I
still
mean,
incapable of
was-
growing hair? Or
I wasn't that like technically always the
maybe
thing?
I just remember in the 90s.
More like
I'm
red
not
pond
I'm not
into it.
super well versed in that era, but I remember in the 90s he was rocking the full like long hair,
Yeah,
beard.
but that was clone Lex
Mhm.
though,
Was it?
wasn't it?
That was Alexander.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know. You would probably
Yeah. That was Alexander. That was a clone of Lex.
Okay.
So the original Lex, I think he was. I
It
don't
was,
know if it was
Alexander
just Smallville that
and
did it, or if it
Matrix.
was actually in the comics. But he was irradiated from kryptonite use or something, and he lost his hair.
Yeah, I remember that was like the fucking Silver Age or Bronze Age origin or something. But I honestly couldn't remember if there was still a canonical reason why he was bald, or if it would just it happened.
Alopecia from the eyebrows.
Also
up.
because Secret Origin and this run as well established that like even up to his teen years he still had his hair. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess some shit must have popped off years later in Metropolis where he started losing his hair. Maybe it was the radiation.
his hairline
Superman and
popped
Lois,
off.
his hair popped off because he shaved it because he went to prison.
Oh,
Other than that, he has this crazy mop
Sorry,
of
that-
curly red hair, and I mean thick. I mean like this.
Yeah.
But yeah. Side note, dude. Wow,
Oh, wait.
just killer,
Actually-
killer last season. Superman and Lois.
maybe I shouldn't ask. Maybe I'll
Well,
ask this question
whatever it
to
is.
Rob off the air because I know it might be a sensitive topic. It is related somewhat to.
To baldness.
Yeah. I just didn't want to be rude
I had a
because I
feeling.
remember I was
No,
I was also
you go
thinking
ahead.
about that
I'm not
too.
ashamed of
and
bald
I was like,
questions or jokes or anything.
at what point does that start to happen for people? Like, does it happen? Can it happen in your
It
teens?
varies.
It happened like I got
It could happen in
super
the
thin,
teens.
like starting in my late 20s.
Huh.
But I know people
Josh,
who
I'm gonna
started
be-
in the
can I-
in the early 20s.
Can I just be bluntly honest
What?
with you? Shut up, you have hair.
You know what? I'm not showing what's going on there.
I don't care. I see a hairline, and that's what matters. You know where my hairline is? At the back of my head. No, I do have some, but it's like very, very thin. For me, it started in my mid-20s, early to mid-20s. It started getting really thin. Because I shaved my head just for the shits and giggles in high school. So my friends were no stranger to me being bald. And I remember working at Home Depot having hair because there's photos of me at the paint desk with hair. So I'm like, okay, I definitely had hair in my 20s. So it definitely must have happened 23, 24, where I decided just like, fuck it. Because Angela, I met her when I was 25. She's never seen me with hair.
Whoa.
Yeah, with a full head of hair.
Jeez.
Right? So it's been over 10 years for me. At least 10 years for me. But just the other day, I saw a Reddit post of some poor guy, 13 years old, 14 years old, less hair than Josh.
Jesus. I didn't even know that could happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it could happen at
God.
any time.
And just the opposite too. I mean, there's always a chance that like you never start losing hair. And that's bullshit, but it's true.
Really?
I wouldn't have
I worked with a
long
guy
hair if I didn't
in
have
his
to.
late
right?
60s had a full head of hair, and I always joked like when I grow up I want to have hair like me.
Man.
But
Yeah, I'm not Superman. It's not happening.
what killed me though was my grandfather up till the day he died, technically had a full head of hair. It wasn't until later I realized he was just the king of the comb over, but he had
Yeah.
hair. My dad didn't get really thin until his 40s. And me, in my 20s. Fuck me, right? I'm scared for my son, because it's getting worse as the generations go. So my son's gonna lose his hair at 10.
Just start shaving it now.
There's a genetic aberration or something. It just doesn't. It skips the
He's just
generation.
never going to grow hair. I'm gonna call him Lex
Just
personally.
Lex, actually. Just start shaving it when he
Yeah.
pops out. It'll be all good.
Yeah.
Just start it out. Just like rub a little nair on there. Rinse it off real quick in the kitchen sink.
Is that legal?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, if it happened to me, like I would accept it, but
at
there's
night.
also just a part of me that's like, I really just
hard.
would not want to.
It's really fucking hard. I just dove into it. I could actually like grow my hair out and just have that stupid half Costanza look. And
Hey, you shut
be
up.
ugly.
I have the
Or
half
I
Costanza
could-
look with long hair.
No way.
Yes, I do. You have no.
Have hair, you bastard.
That is not George Costanza.
That is not Costanza. You have hair on the top of
Yeah,
your head.
just barely. It's because I refuse to cut it.
Patch, but
No, it's because I refuse to cut
you
it.
have a tiny little
Fuck,
spot.
whatever. I'm not gonna argue. I have more hair than you guys. Yep. There you
Exactly.
go.
That's the point we're trying to put
You're all good.
across.
I love 720p.
I mean, to be, you are like a little thumbnail.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I
I
like
was just curious.
I like dove into it. I just said screw it and just like completely own being bald, and I've gone with that for 10 years of my life now, and I've let it grow out a couple times because I've gotten lazy with shaving. Shaving every day is a pain in the ass, but it's nicer than washing your hair all the time.
Have you gotten the race
It's
car?
easier.
It's true.
When I shaved my head here, like about 8 years ago, I got the race car. Man, it was so easy. It was way easier than using the
What?
the.
What the fuck is?
You put your finger in. It looks like a Hot Wheels car. It's got 4 wheels on it. You put your 2 fingers in it. Like it's got these 2 holes. You slide your fingers in there, and it's got 4 wheels underneath it. And it's got blades on it that cut both ways. And you just sit there and do this.
It says shaving.
Interesting.
Yep.
I gotta take a look
I
at
forget
that.
what the hell the name of it is, but I'm sure if you looked up.
I just have a razor. and a
No,
shaver.
that makes it way super fast.
Yeah, I gotta check that out. That sounds
Yep.
really good. But I will say this last thing. I have had dreams, including up to, coincidentally, last night I had
God.
one
Wait,
where
6.5.
I'm just dreaming. I go to the washroom, I look in the mirror, and inexplicably have a full head of hair. More hair than I ever had before. And I look in the mirror and I'm like, what happened? I went to bed, I was bald. Why do I have hair now? And I feel so much joy inside. I feel so
Say,
happy.
woo!
And then I wake up, I go to the washroom, and I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, fuck. It was a dream again. God
I don't know. Maybe one day it'll come true.
It hurts. It hurts. I will tell you right now. You can own it as much as you want, and you can say it's fine. Bald is beautiful. Bald is better. But at the end of the day, you will miss your head of hair. Every bald guy agrees.
Well, I know what my nightmare's going to be tonight.
That's. Oh.
Josh, do you miss having flowing locks of
Yes.
hair?
Yep.
Right?
I miss not having to worry about anything, just pulling it back in a ponytail.
Yeah.
When I was younger,
I had
it
a
was
friend who
just
was in
I had it
denial
down
for
to my
years.
shoulders. It used to have lovely wavy hair, and then it just started going so thin.
Yeah.
And like I sat down and I didn't realize it was happening. I had no idea it was happening. I sat down to get my hair cut by a new person, which oh my god, for the tizzy, that's not easy to do. And it just I
Yeah.
sat down, got my hair cut, and she goes, "Do you wear ball caps?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it works." She goes, "Stop it." I'm like, "Oh, what?" She goes, "Well, I hate to tell you, but you got quite the ball patch going on back here. Nobody told me otherwise. I had never heard that before. I did not know about it, and it was bad. And I got some pictures of it, and it was about as big around as a softball. And that was when I was 35. I'm 47 or something right now. Yep.
Yeah. I had a friend who was in
Worked its way
major
forward.
denial. He had long hair down to like his shoulders, maybe, but the top of his head was practically
Yeah.
gone.
Shit.
He wore a hat
I hate that idea.
24/7. He just didn't want to let go of it, and it's like, dude,
I'm,
we had to like hold him down to a chair, and somebody pull the hat off just so we could see what the hell was
Like it's
going on over
time.
there, because he never took it off. And then we saw it, and like, dude, I hate it. Just accept it. Okay. Don't do this to yourself. Yeah, it's hard.
That is hard. That is hard to hear.
I'm sorry for the nightmares tonight, Brandon.
It's fine. It was about time for another hair nightmare.
damn. I got pictures of me
I'm
when
gonna
I'm
be honest
bald.
with
They're
you,
just
though,
not on
like-
my phone, apparently.
Yeah, I can find pictures of me with hair. I can send it to you guys so you can see what it looked
That would be
like.
fun.
Reminisce
Yeah.
with me. Though it is a big part of the reason why I'm so drawn to Lex
Mhm.
Luthor, because like
Because you are an evil
he's
scientist.
like me. Yes.
I'm surprised that you didn't just go full like I'm gonna destroy the world when you discovered
I was close a couple times.
when you
know?
discovered when you're like, oh, well,
I
okay,
just-
I guess I'm bald.
I don't have the money.
Well, actually,
You know,
Batman
that's-
doesn't have the money, and he figured it out. So
Yeah, but he's not trying to destroy the world. He's trying to save it.
I suppose that's true.
Yeah. Like
How is that
that's the
true?
missing link between me and Lex Luthor. We're both bald. We both want to take over the world. Problem is, he can afford to do it. I can barely afford groceries. So
I need to find a way to get some investors involved so that we can
I'll start a GoFundMe for taking over the planet.
I was thinking you can invest in, I don't know, some company or something, and we'll just make you the fucking chairman, and we'll just have a corporate takeover. And we'll just take over the world through business, and then we'll eventually start developing like crazy technology and robots and shit, and yeah, and then World War Lex will actually happen.
He's literally trying
Would
to
it be
turn you into
possible-
Elon Musk.
Well, no, I'm bald, so I'd be
Well,
Jeff Bezos.
I mean, yes,
That's
but
not
at
how
least
it
you won't be a
works.
Nazi. You can
Can't
take
I be
over the
the
world.
good Lex Luthor,
Yeah.
or do I have to be mad because I'm bald?
Both.
I don't know.
I
Choose
don't
your
know how
own.
the hell to
Choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure.
Hey,
Choose your own adventure.
Choose
But-
your own adventure of taking over the world. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, I guess you could be a super Lex. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to all be world domination. You could get yourself a nice super suit.
Yeah.
Go out, save the world,
Yeah, but like
and then when you get fed up with that, you can.
at the same time, I'm tired. I got 2 kids. I'm a little lazy right now. It's like,
got shot.
saving the world
got
sounds like a
bronchitis.
lot more work than taking it over. You know, because like that's a lot of mental energy you got to expend trying to convince people to just sit down and shut the fuck up, as opposed to you sit down and shut the fuck up, or I'm going to punch you. Right?
Yeah,
So
same thing.
yeah. I feel like taking over the world would be easier.
Yeah, I agree.
It's possible.
Force people to bow to your will as opposed to ask people to bow to your will. I think, right?
I could see it. I could see you making the dark turn. Evil turn.
This
World
is my
domination.
supervillain origin.
And this world doesn't have a Superman, so we're fucked. You want to take over the world?
You see,
We'll
first,
stop you.
check it. Kneel before Rob,
Yeah.
No,
please.
You want
Like,
just
just go
please.
for it.
Because I'm Canadian, right? No,
If you really had this superior technology and firepower,
Yeah.
you win. There is no Superman. There's no Justice League. It's over.
no,
We're just like,
you know
okay,
who will
fuck
stop me? Joshua Williamson, because this idea will never have a conclusion.
it. That's true. It'll just be one thing we mentioned, and then
Never
it'll
go
be
back to
brought
it
up
again. And all the listeners
go
like,
back to
but
it
that
again."
sounds so cool. Like, no,
Oh well.
it's done.
I'm sorry. The alternate universe where Rob conquers the Earth.
False.
It's just an idea.
Yeah. Anyway, this issue is getting an 8.25 from me.
Fair enough.
I
Try
gave
to
it a
not
6.5. That's about the best that I can do for it. It didn't really do anything at all. I really enjoyed Sandoval's art, and everything else we've already said.
It's interesting you like Sandoval's art because this was drawn by Eddie Barrows.
Or Eddie Barrows, sorry. I bad. I wasn't looking up at the art or at the notes.
Well, he was just saying it. It's just an appreciation. He was going to mention Eddie Barrows.
Eddie Barrows' art is fantastic. I wasn't looking at my notes.
Fair enough.
That's why I have my notes.
And Brandon, what did you think? Score
Wait,
wise.
I think I said.
Oh, you did. Oh, okay,
7.5.
sorry. Excuse me. All right.
I guess.
Just can't get the mental image of a Lex Luthor Rob out of my head. Not even that I necessarily want to see it. I just maybe I kinda wanna
Didn't I
see
send
it.
you a picture of my cosplay once? I did a Lex Luthor cosplay.
Yes. No, it was really
Right?
good, dude.
I thought
Yeah.
so. Nobody knew who the fuck I was, which was sad.
Man.
I even
Next
had
time
a
you gotta get a
gauntlet of the
Lexo
Lexo suit, dude. Like,
Yeah.
shit. I should get a cigar and then it'll change everything, I guess. I don't know.
Or maybe an I hate Superman
Yeah.
sign. I don't
You
know.
need a white pocket square, a red tie, a white dress shirt, and a dark gray suit. People will know then.
Dark. Has he ever, or is that a Gene Hackman costume?
That is
Ooh,
look. That is
wait.
both Gene Hackman and
No.
him in most animated representations.
That's true.
Dude,
That's
I
true.
have an idea. I have an idea that I think will not only get people to definitely recognize you as
Yeah.
Lex, but probably will be something I've never seen before. You should dress up as President Lex, but President Lex on the campaign. So if you have if Ange is with you or something, if you have like a friend
Yeah.
or something, you could have someone with like Vote for Lex 2000 campaign
Ooh.
poster, and then you walk
With
around
buttons?
in the suit as Lex.
Give out
and give out buttons
would be
and stuff like
so
that.
dope.
That would be really cool.
Hell yes,
Oh,
dude.
man.
I'm getting,
I
like,
wonder how
goosebumps
much it would
about
cost to
that.
print like 500 buttons.
I have no idea. But I'm sure you could easily go to whatever the Canadian
500 buttons. You could even do it. I mean, you could do it cheaper. You could hand out stickers. That
Yeah,
would be
but-
even cheaper than
Those
buttons.
are pretty easy to
That would be.
manufacture.
That would be.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is an excellent
For-
idea.
But it's gotta be your face, and it's gotta be like Vote for Lex 2000 or 2020.
Yeah, you just have to make you a button, and those hanging with you. Those hanging with you being Brandon and me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I would look,
Look,
dude.
I'll-
I would so
I'll-
be
All in
your
my campaign
fucking
manager.
He can be your hype man,
servant.
and I'll be the donkey.
Yes.
Just I'll use my chair.
I
We
will-
can
I
hold
will
the
gladly
we can hold
carry
the stickers in
around
my
a
lap.
campaign poster that says,
The
"Vote
pack
for Lex."
mule.
Pack
You can
mule.
come up with the slogan.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I love that
Yes,
idea.
That's a brilliant idea. I should do it.
100%.
Oh hell yeah.
100% pure facts. Yep. That'll work. It'll do.
Holy shit.
Oh wow! I just realized that when I completely deleted my Facebook, I've just lost like 15 years worth of pictures.
Yeah.
Well, like from like 10 years ago to prior to whenever Facebook started up.
Which is like
Whoops.
20 years ago. I think it was like
Yeah,
2005 or something.
sure, something like that. That's a lot of pictures.
That
Whoops.
is. That sucks.
Oh well. So I was bald. I just can't show you.
Yeah. No proof, didn't happen.
No proof didn't
Lawyer.
happen.
Yes.
Fucking liar. Damn liar.
Or another just follow up idea I have for a Lex costume is wear a suit, have a red curly wig on, and every time I see a Superman, just run over, pull the wig off, and like, you!
Yes.
Or something like that. I don't know.
You gotta have like, I don't know, like a green rock
Yeah.
or something, and be like, "This is your
Yeah.
fault. You brought this kryptonite trash to Earth, filthy
This
alien."
young bitch.
Bob's too much that community. Horribly.
I don't know why that was so funny. Just picturing Lex go, you some bitch.
I mean, he does. He comes from Kansas, right? I mean, he comes from Smallville in a lot of continuities. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I get like Clark speaks with that aw shucks kind of voice a little bit. I imagine he does, almost like Tyler Hoechlin plays it.
Yeah.
And then I just see Lex speaking with a speaking with a little bit of a drawl that he can't quite overcome. And then when he gets real
Yeah.
pissed, he kicks in and like, "You son of a bitch! God damn it, Superman!"
Oh, I love it.
Can
I
you
love it.
can you see that?
Yeah.
I could definitely see that if he's
how
like,
long in the future did
if
you
he's like
take
mad
that
at his
photo?
kids or something.
That is supposed to be 15 years in the future.
And look, you still have hair.
Well, that's
Yeah.
because the app doesn't get rid of it. That's the closest I got to bald. My bad. All right.
Okay.
So I guess we should probably move on to the third book and
Yes.
see if we can't hit a third hour. I mean,
I imagine
It's
it will
definitely gonna happen.
take longer than
Holy shit.
that. Yeah.
How do we
All right.
always do this? Oh,
told
my
you.
God, you did call it.
I
You
yup.
did call it.
You some bitch.
Not that I'm not responsible for it. But
We just have so much fun. And
Thank
I
you,
hope,
Superman.
I hope y'all listeners are having fun too, because that's why we do this.
Yes.
All right, let's just jump into it because we got another show to record after. This will be Green Lantern number 19, Legacy 586.
That's this one right
Number
here.
600 coming up quite soon.
if they remember,
Yeah. It's written by Jeremy Adams with art from Fernando Pazarin, Claire Albert, and Jason Paz, with colors from Romulo Fajardo Jr. and letters from Dave Sharp. So we start in Hub City, where the Justice League are taking down a giant squid monster thing. Cyclops? Yeah, it's some kind of deep sea creature. It's really friggin' weird. Just trying to be corralled by none other than Star Sapphire, who is present with the Justice League and learning as much as she can, being a true full-fledged hero now. The squid monster gets away from the League and starts heading towards a pier, so she traps it in a giant purple net, and this is when Hal arrives and picks it up with a green crane, and they work together to take it back to the deep ocean. Then a little bit later at the JLU Watchtower, the two now reunited take a little sit down in the Green Lantern wing of the Justice League Watchtower. Where they just talk about everything that's going on right now. Hal's filling her in on how Guy had the Book of Oa, but is also stolen by Nate, now taken over by some kind of gray light powered by Sorrow, and explaining everything that's going on with the emotional spectrum is just popping up all over the place. People just and I think I think it was me, but it might have been one of you guys had that prediction that it's just the emotion you feel at the time is what signifies what color you become. It's what they're explaining here. If your emotion spikes in a certain direction, you'll start to manifest that color of the emotional spectrum.
That was you and Brandon arguing with me on numerous occasions that was going to be the case. So you got that one right.
Something.
Hell yeah. But with that, with the spectrum being fractured, new emotions are spiking up, new colors and new powers all over the place as well. So the core is thinned itself out, trying to figure out what to do next. Hal has a bit of time as he waits for Kyle to scrounge up some reinforcements, as they've got a mission to go on at the source wall. He wants Carol to join him, but Carol wants to stick around and learn as much as she can with the Justice League and help protect the Earth. But they have a bit of time, so they do some couple stuff. Hint, hint. We then go over
chicken, brown cow.
Exactly. We then go to the planet Oa at the Green Lantern Corps Armory, where somebody is breaking in, and we find it's none other than Odyssey, the Time Bandits. Who's that, you say? Well, she's a new character. And according to Kyle Rayner, who finds her and stops her, is also kind of an arch enemy to perhaps Gold Beetle?
Perhaps.
Maybe. Which, this is being written by Jeremy Adams and time travel being mentioned, I really hope Gold Beetle makes an appearance in this book.
That really would be pretty neat.
I love Gold Beetle. But anyway, Kyle has been reading up on her file, since they now have access to all of the Guardians' records and files on everybody they had captured in science cells, and figures that with her abilities, he could use her help. Then we jump over to Australia, where Kyle and Odyssey have appeared at a crater in the middle of quite possibly the desert, scaring the crap out of two local guys. When out of the crater pops with a giant splash of water, none other than Connor Kent, aka Superboy, shirtless and soaking wet, and completely dumbfounded by Odyssey. He becomes a drooling teenager because apparently she's very pretty. She also gets a little bit of an eye for Superboy as well. Right, so then that is the team assembled. They all rendezvous at the Watchtower, and then they head off their separate ways, with Carol staying behind. Hal and her share a kiss and an I love you, which is very sweet. And also, I'm not going to say sudden, but just kind of weird to see, because that relationship really grew quickly. But they take off, this ragtag group off.
That relationship has been going on for like 780 years.
Yes, but it's also been on hiatus for 10.
True love never dies, my friend.
They split up. All right. How many times? They broke up so much.
Destined to be together, my man.
Hal and Carol. I know me saying like
they are the definition of on again, off again.
Yes. But like,
true love never dies.
They just they're not even taking it slow.
Not gonna pick up where you left off. They knew it was gonna happen anyway.
Jesus.
Fuck Johnny Sorrow.
Johnny Sorrow.
Yeah. It's not Johnny Sorrow.
Well, it's not Johnny Sorrow, but you know what I mean.
Nathan Sorrow.
Yeah, fuck Nady Sorrow.
Yeah, I hope you don't fuck Johnny Sorrow. I think you would die.
Depends
on
if
eye contact with him, and you would die.
Yeah,
you would perish.
Just paper bag. I don't know.
There's certain things you can do.
What? Like, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that on air. Carry on.
Don't look back at it.
Over the pants hand slap.
You said there's other things I
Stop
can do.
it.
My mind went there.
That's it. I think mine went over everybody's head, but that'll work. All right. Continue.
All I can think about now is that one scene in Arrested Development when Job tries to sleep with the what? I don't remember her name. You know what I'm talking about? It's like, okay, let's try lights off, bag on, or something like that. Yeah.
What?
It's I think it was his father's secretary. She's y'all have seen Arrested Development, right?
I actually have.
I've never heard of it before. What's Arrested Development?
What?
No, Jason Bateman.
I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding.
Fucking hell.
Jesus,
I was about to go.
I know comedy is a thing for
Watch
me,
it
man. I love
right
it.
now. There's always money in the banana stand. Anyway, no more tangents.
There's always money in Larry David.
Yep.
It's true.
Break him open. You get rich.
Shake it just a little bit. Shake it just a little bit. Set him
For
off.
the love of God, don't burn him down.
And just watch what happens. Something will happen.
You shake him a little bit, he'll scream and
Let
say,
it
"What
go."
the fuck?"
And then something will happen. You just record it.
Yeah. Anywho, the ragtag team take off in the Interceptor.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah, from Green Lantern the animated series as well.
I was shocked to see that.
Yeah, that was cool. But
So
also
little-
made its
also
comic
little-
debut in War of the Green Lanterns.
Really?
Yes.
I don't remember that, but
Yeah. It was an
I
experimental
mean,
ship
it's
that Hal and
Jeremy
Guy
Adams writing this.
Ah.
He's gonna work in some Green Lantern the animated series, right?
took. Yeah.
well, I didn't remember it being part of War of the Green Lanterns.
Yeah, it was early on. Hal and Guy were stranded on that alien planet, but Hal had access to the Interceptor. It was an experimental Owen jet that he had kind of access to because he was being asked to test it. And then they took off together.
Okay, this is not a tangent, I swear, because we're gonna get through this issue. But
Yes.
do you remember if this was before or after the animated series started?
See, that's where I'm kind of fuzzy because I never watched the animated series when it was new.
Yeah.
I watched it after, so I don't remember when it aired.
Huh. Okay. Because I want to say it was like 2010, maybe 2011.
Which would have been around the same time. Because War of the Green Lanterns was literally right before the New 52. It was the last story
Right.
arc.
Okay.
So that would
I
have
had
been
to
summer
guess.
2011.
Yeah, maybe right before. I don't know. I'd have to look.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But anyway,
Yeah. Aya was not in the Interceptor in War of the Green Lanterns. She's also not in the Interceptor here. It is mentioned by Hal that the artificial intelligence is no longer on board, so he'll have to take them out by feel, which kind of like worries Kyle. But then they take off like a bat out of hell. Heading straight for the source wall. We then go over to the Cazelet of the Desolate Stone, where Starbreaker has met up once again with Nathan Sorrow and has read the Book of Oa thanks to the Eye of Krona and is able to unleash his full power, burning a Starbreaker symbol into the roof of his castle. He opens a portal that brings out his brothers and sisters, his people, his comrades in arms, other versions of him, or I guess his alien race, to twist these enemies' names for their own, as they will now become the Starbreaker Corps. Yay.
Dun, 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 dun! Actually, no, that can't be the right music. There's
No.
like dun dun
Dun,
dun 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 dun.
We then go back to our intrepid heroes sailing their way across the stars. They get a communique from Jon Stewart, who mentions that there is some other stuff going on just close to their location, where they got another spike of lantern energy coming out of the fracture spectrum. Hal says he'll take care of it, while the rest of them take towards the source wall. And as soon as he leaves the bridge, Kyle and Connor just start running for the captain's chair and fighting over it, and that was a little bit of fun. We then see Hal head off to this planet where the blip has happened, and he finds a village just torn to shreds and beaten to a pulp, where he turns and hears somebody say they deserved it all, as he sees one of the alien race members with a red lantern glow and a lot of red lantern constructs, screaming that he is so mad. And that's where our issue ends. Right, so simple little issue. We're getting a little bit more insight as to what's going on with this fractured spectrum, which I really like to see. This is all leading into Green Lantern Corps #1, as well as the ongoing story in Green Lantern. So you see where there's going to be a bit of a divide now, where Green Lantern is going to focus seemingly just on Hal Jordan, and Green Lantern Corps is going to be on everything else. I'm sure Hal will pop up in GLC a couple times here and there, but it seems like Green Lantern Corps #1 is going to deal with their first mission going to the Source Wall, where we will probably see Superboy and Odyssey design Bandit as well. But it's a very interesting concept they got going on here, that lantern energy can just manifest anywhere at any time if somebody feels an emotion big enough, which is a kind of fucked up thought. Who knows what could come out of that? And I really hope that the only examples we see are not just red and yellow. I hope we get to see some others kind of manifest.
Yeah, I was going to mention that a little later, but I think one of the interesting aspects of the fractal lantern idea is that it's other emotions that we haven't seen before. So something like sorrow, or I don't know, fucking jealousy. Would you consider jealousy different than greed? Kinda, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But different emotions that could potentially manifest as different lanterns. That's what I really want to see. Like, something kind of creative. I know. We already have a ton of fucking lanterns. You don't need more. But for this arc, I think it would be interesting to explore the different fracture lanterns.
Exactly.
Powers might manifest.
Yeah. I actually saw an interesting post on Reddit, and I would quote the poster, but I just remembered it, so I don't have time to look it up. But it's on the Green Lantern subreddit if you want to look at it. It's an interesting thought, that they were looking at Nathan as the Sorrow Lantern, and then also remembered the Gold Lantern from the Legion of Superheroes, and thought, so the Gold Lantern is based on joy, where the Sorrow Lantern, the Gray Lantern, is based obviously on sadness, depression, sorrow. They seem like polar opposites. So what if the Sorrow Lantern is more of like a silver lantern as opposed to a gray lantern? Because they would be the opposites, gray and silver, had joy and sorrow.
I might buy into that if I thought anyone gave a damn about Bendis.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that the idea of a Gold Lantern was interesting, if not a little try-hard.
Yeah. Although I was going to say, maybe it's possible that this is where this comes from, because I think the idea that Jeremy Adams is setting up, but correct me if I'm wrong, is that if any one of the fractal lanterns gets their hands on the Book of Oa, they can figure out how to establish a power boundary, which would then give them bring in more lanterns of that color or variation. So
Yeah.
I
Yep.
suppose it's possible someone could manifest enough joy. Certainly not me.
Got to get Pixar movie up in this piece.
Yeah, certainly manifest enough joy to
Yeah.
create a gold lantern fracture, and then maybe create a power battery. I don't know. I'm trying
Yeah.
to salvage the idea, but
It could happen. What would a brown lantern do?
Don't
Shit.
be. Yeah.
Sorry. Low brow joke.
I feel like brown would be the color of confusion.
What about hunger?
Hunger.
Hunger would be like a deep. No, like a burnt orange.
What's
Yeah.
like disgust? I think that's the
Disgust.
like
Disgust, like
what
a
if there's,
toxic
like-
green color.
like I'm so disgusted at everything that it manifests
Toxic green.
as an emotion.
Toxic green.
And the
Toxic.
color is
But
brown.
what's
Like
toxic?
neon green. Like
Yeah.
like Ninja Turtle ooze green. Like
Like fluorescent.
yes, there you go.
We need more colors, man. Because that's the problem that
Like
that
whatever green's
this
version
cover
of hot
also
pink
gives
is.
you. Because this cover also shows that different lanterns can manifest different shades of green, but they're all
Yeah.
green lanterns. There's 4 different shades of green
Well, you
represented
know
on
what?
this cover alone.
In America, we have school uniforms for a reason. So let's get everybody
Punish children?
let's get everybody on the same page, and they can all start dressing the same. Well, not the same, but similar. Let's just all have them in the same color green. It's not really that big of a deal, right? All right, fine. So they can't
What-
be green.
What if what if there are
Disgust. A
fractures
deep
of
purple.
established spectrum colors? Like what if there is a fracture of willpower or a fracture of anger? Like a deviation basically. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. If let's say normally you just have the pink lanterns and that would represent everything having to do with like love and compassion and so forth and all that. Like, but what if you had a fractal lantern that was like lust, or
Yeah.
longing?
Out of love, like it just took like the sex part
Yeah,
out of the love
like it's
part,
like it's a
or
fracture
like
of
if you
the
just
love.
took like
Like a lantern that is
Oh.
solely focused on sex.
I think I
or like for like the sorrow lantern, you have that sadness aspect of it
Yeah.
too, but you also have that aspect of it where the dude is like he doesn't even care if he's alive.
yeah.
Like he's alive basically because
Yeah,
he's got
like
somebody
a
else telling
nihilism.
him what to do other than So there's different aspects of it. So like there is like a fractal lantern that could affect everything that's on the cards or like that we've seen
Yeah.
in play throughout Lantern history, really.
Yeah.
But what would the one thing that I can't figure out is like I can imagine one for everybody, but what like specifically looking for something to fracture willpower, what would it be?
I was thinking like you had a more pure version of courage, or
Would it just the
There's another
fearlessness
word.
part?
yeah, like it's not necessarily the ability to power through anything, the willpower to overcome anything. It's like just a purified version of like I feel concentrated courage. I feel like I'm limitless.
Yeah.
Maybe that is just willpower. I don't know, but
So
Or
I've got an idea.
narcissistic?
I've got an idea for this. So if you figure the rainbow, right? You picture
Yeah.
take the rainbow for example, right? And then all the colors they're represented with the 7 core emotions, but then you have the emotions individuals, they're in divisions, right? So like you said for jealousy, I would put that between like almost a combination of rage and greed,
yeah,
and that being red and orange. So
Yeah.
the color for jealousy could be like blood orange.
huh?
Yep.
right?
Kinda cool.
Like a combination
It's
of like
like
a
a mix.
red-orange tone.
Yeah, well, there's your burnt orange. Okay, I knew there was a color for that.
Lust could be like a solid purple because it would be a combination of compassion and love,
Yeah.
right?
Or even
And that'd
rage
be
and love.
between indigo and
Yep,
violet,
a lot
right?
of.
Yeah.
Right. So there you go with that. That fracture of willpower that you guys are talking about could be like bravado,
Yeah.
right? And that could go either way. It could be like a yellowish green or a bluish green. It could be like an aqua, right? Where it's a combination of willpower and hope, right? So
Cyan.
it'd be like like a
This
cyan or an aqua.
This is why this man needs to write some Green Lantern. Why this man?
I
Come and
spent a
tear me
lot of
down.
time working with color.
Oh, you know what? When you do the Lex costume, you gotta darken up your eyebrows and make them a little closer to black, like his. That'll help too.
That's gonna be hard.
Actually, speaking of lanterns and Lex, if
You
there
can
was
do
a
it
way
with
that I could make
mascara.
you the Orange Lantern Lex costume,
I'd be
Oh,
so happy. I would be
awesome, man.
so fucking happy.
God,
That would be a dream of mine, is to have like a Lexo suit as a
that would be
cosplay.
anyone's dream. I'd love to have a Lexo suit.
Not like a
I
real
am
one, just as a
neither
cosplay,
bald
but
nor Lex.
I want. Okay,
Not even for evil
can
purposes,
we
just to have it in my
just
room.
to have it. Yeah.
can we
Yeah.
make a
Don't even have to
Larfleeze
wear
that? No, damn, that won't work.
What?
We need a Larfleeze, but he's so skinny that he's like that we have to radio control him like with a remote because we can't have a person
Like a-
be him.
Like
So
a
he's
robot Larfleeze.
yes. When, he can speak like when I hear his voice, it's like a snarling, drooling Smeagol.
Yeah. So if we ever get a live action Larfleeze, it needs to be played by Andy Serkis.
Oh yeah, for sure,
I could see that.
Yep,
Even an animated Larfleeze.
yep, absolutely.
Andy Serkis.
There's
please.
nobody else that can do that. Andy Serkis and or me, I'll do it.
Either Andy Serkis or what's his face, Frank Welker, because he can do anything.
Yeah. I like it. Would have said Gilbert Gottfried too, but
Oh, rest in peace.
yeah.
That would have been cool.
Anywho, Green Lantern.
Anywho,
It's
Right.
8:00.
getting back to the subject at hand.
Yeah. So Green Lantern is a very interesting issue. A lot of open concepts being explored. I like it. A lot of growth for the story. A lot of open plot to be had. I'm not a fan of the Starbreaker core because I don't like the whole thing of everybody's getting a core now. It was
Well-
cool for a while. It was interesting for a bit. Starbreaker having a core is insane and very like universe like destruction, but
Right, that's what makes it so interesting to me.
yeah, but I feel like they don't need to call it a core, right? I get where they're going with it, but like we've had so many cores over the years, like that everybody need to be called a core, you know?
They're just calling themselves a core, but they're not really a core.
Yeah.
It's like Doge. It's a subcommittee, but it calls itself a department.
Yes. Never compare Green Lantern to Elon Musk again. How dare you?
And Vivek Ramaswamy.
It's not much better.
Anyway, yeah, no. Anyway,
Yeah.
Green
so,
Lantern. Hal Jordan, Kyle.
Solid issue. Lots of pretty colors. I love the art. But I do miss Hermanico.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a nice, solid, I'll say 8.75 out of 10. Not that solid, but
Pretty solid.
I mean, like
Yeah.
the number's not that solid. It's a fraction, but
Uh,
so's the core, the
for-
spectrum.
Or it will be
Fractured.
for real.
Yeah.
like the prism.
Exactly.
I mean, this freaking art. I kept having to reread Bubbles because I would get stuck looking at it, and that is not an exaggeration. I enjoyed it so much. I feel like, obviously this was basically about introducing Odyssey to the team, Kyle being a part of it. Superboy, who strangely enough makes an appearance like he's on the cover of a gay porno movie. I worked at a video rental place. I know what that looks like, and that is what that looks like.
Whoa!
The
Lick your shirt,
introduction,
man.
the introduction of the Starbreaker Corps, which Rob, you have actually, and maybe you don't remember this, but you've actually been mentioning this for the last couple of months, once or twice, maybe the last 3 months, bringing up the Starbreaker himself, or that dude.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Starbreaker.
Yes,
Yeah.
but so it's
He made an appearance at the end of an issue.
I think you were bringing them up before then. But in any case, so here we are with that. It's got me excited to see where that goes. So it was about that and Hal and Carol sucking face. It was a lot of Hal and Carol sucking face.
Yeah.
Who is Larflee's Red Lantern?
Is Larfleeze a Red Lantern?
At
Not,
the at who is
not
that
right
at
now.
the end of that's Larflee's Red Lantern.
Oh no, that's just like a random alien that manifested Red Lantern energy.
That looks like a Larfleeze Red Lantern. I don't care what it is, but it is definitely fucked up, and it looks like it needs Larfleeze to mess it up. Larfleeze broke everybody out of jail last time. I feel like he's a really good attack dog. Get him. That's a fucked up lantern.
Yeah.
I feel like I keep repeating myself, but I am just wide open to whatever's coming down the pipeline because I really like that it's kind of out of left field, but at the same time, it always makes perfect sense. And that's with pretty much everything he writes. That's why I appreciate it. I really, really am excited for this shakeup. See what's to come. Especially what the first clashes are going to look like between the Lanterns and the Starbreakers. This isn't the core team I thought that I thought I would be getting for sure, like at all. It was a quick left turn in Albuquerque, as I would say. But let's go. Joe Moline and Carol are tied up. Let's see what happens. 8.5 out of 10 I gave it.
Yeah, easy 8.25 out of 10 for me. Solid art, as always, from Fernando Pissarro, though I agree, I do miss Zermanico. And it's interesting seeing Jeremy Adams set up the dynamics that we are going to see. This almost felt like a prelude issue to Green Lantern Corps. Maybe that's
Right.
Yeah.
Like almost like a preview of the kind of dynamics we're going to get, especially with Kyle and Odyssey and possibly Connor. So really cool stuff there. It makes me very excited for the upcoming Green Lantern Corps series. And then, of course, I already talked about my interest in the Fractal Lantern stuff. So I hope they continue to develop that more in future issues outside of the established emotional spectrums. But yeah, solid stuff here. Hal getting freaky. Definitely good for him. It's been a bit of a dry spell.
He ain't the only one getting freaky.
Yet some.
There's about to be all kinds of Connor fanfic on Reddit. I'll tell you what.
So yeah, no, solid stuff here. And is Zermanico maybe coming back? I don't know. I haven't checked the solicits, but
I hope so.
possible.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Because I know Fernando Pissarro is doing the Green Lantern Corps series, so he's probably not going to be doing Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps at the same time.
No, who knows? We'll have to see.
Yeah, nothing like what I mean. Okay, we call that art continuity. I'm done.
As another question I forgot I was going to bring up, did Kyle and Connor ever have any interactions prior to this?
I was trying to remember that too, because I was like, you seem awfully chummy.
Yeah.
All I can remember is like
When Kyle was on the Titans, what about then?
Connor wasn't
no,
on the
because
Titans.
Superboy was not on the Titans. But
Well,
Oh
Did they
God.
interact at any
Um,
point during that time?
I mean, that's what I was trying to think. I want to say there's like an issue of Superboy where they fight or something, but I gotta go through the vault because I couldn't
Yeah.
remember.
That's
I mean,
probably somebody just seeing that they're about the same age canonically, so they're like, sure, they know each other. They're everybody back
Well, it
then is
shouldn't
buddies now,
be.
right?
no, they're
That would be
definitely
very
not the
weird.
same age.
Well,
Yeah,
I
because I was
know,
like,
but
Kyle was like in his 20s when Connor was 14 or
Born.
something. However old. So,
the age fast.
I was gonna say was like if there was never like a canonical moment that they spent time together on a team or anything, then it's probably even just like a nod to them coming up together in the 90s,
oh yeah, I
right?
could see
Because
that too.
they debuted kind of around the same time.
Yeah,
And
no,
that's basically
basically
what I
they were both
Yeah.
94, I think. Because when did Death of Superman?
Well,
happen?
that
Was it
so
93?
that would have been prior, I imagine, because
Oh, do you know?
I think Superman had returned
Uh,
in. I'm pretty
Of course
sure.
he returned. He only said he was going out for a pack of
let's
cigarettes.
see.
Yeah.
I know that Connor first showed up in Adventures of Superman 500, but I
Look
can't
up
remember what.
Green Lantern.
Okay,
Number
that's apparently
46.
1993. According to
Mhm.
this, it's June 93.
Reign,
I
yeah,
could
Reign of the Supermen was post Return of or post Doomsday,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
Green Lantern 46 is part of Reign of the Supermen. So
Right.
Superman had come back at that point. So that was like a full year later, if I remember right.
Yeah. But yeah, you're definitely right. They were pretty much getting started right around the same time because
Yeah.
fallout of fucking Death of Superman bleeds
Mhm.
into Emerald's Twilight, and
Yeah.
the rest.
Yeah.
What is that issue? I feel like I'm tripping.
Which one?
I'll find it. The Green Lantern Superboy issue. Or maybe it's a Superboy Green Lantern issue. I don't know.
I was tripping.
Oh, here we go. Yes. Although I don't know.
Idol Worship,
What would
Part
make
2, Superboy number 47, I have.
Huh. I'm looking at Superboy number 20.
Yeah, I see Superboy number 20.
Okay, because that was the only reason I know this is because apparently there's a letter in this issue from a young Jeff Johns where he talks about the
Oh,
crazy idea of having Connor Kent have half his DNA be from Lex Luthor. And the editor, Eddie Bergans, I know, like I saw that on some
What?
Reddit years ago. And the funny thing is, like, the editor at the time, Eddie Berganza, was like, haha, that's kind of cool, but we're probably not going to do that. That's a bit too out there. And we like the idea that it's just some Cadmus scientist. So
holy
for
shit.
years, that had been brewing. I gotta find it. I'll send it to you.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Somebody
Holy
else
shit.
did that shit. Who else did that stuff where they sat on a damn story? They fought for it like crazy.
Jeff Johns, always.
Well, I mean, there are like a couple examples of people
Yeah.
sending in letters with like ideas that then actually
No,
happened.
no. Oh, Marv Wolfman I was reading about. I can't remember what it is now, but I know it was him because I can see it in my head.
Here we go.
Anyway,
Anyway,
is you is or is you isn't
There you go.
ready for your top three?
That.
is ready.
You was ready.
Yeah.
What, pray tell, might your top three be?
Well, for me, number 3 is going to be Lex Luthor Special. Number 2 is going to be DC Power Rise of the Power Company. And number 1 is going to be Green Lantern. Favorite moment is going to be Kyle and Connor fighting over the captain's chair because it's just adorable.
Right on. My top three is going to be Lex Luthor Special at 6.5 and third. Green Lantern is taking the second place, and first place is going to the Power Company with my favorite moment being honestly, it's the reveal of the Starbreaker Corps. I think that it was awesome, and it brings us some fantastic opportunities for stories coming down the pipeline. And I think it could ultimately lead to some really good ones. If the Starbreaker Corps is permanent and sticks around, it could become our new Yellow Lanterns, our new antithesis to the new Green Lantern Corps, and that would be kind of cool. And that's it for me.
Nice. Top three for me. I had Lex Luthor special at 3 as well. DC Power Rise, the Power Company at 2. But my top definitely has to go to Green Lantern this week, with my favorite moment probably being the Interceptor reveal. Both because I didn't realize that it had been previously introduced in War of the Green Lanterns, which I think is pretty cool. But also, it's just like, hey, it's good to see you again, old buddy. So many memories on that ship.
So I'm reading that letter you sent, and holy shit, it
Diabolical.
wasn't even just that Braganza was like, nah, maybe we'll not use it. He was like, Superboy and Supergirl, check. Rob and Superboy, check. Lex Luthor is DNA donor. Bzz, sorry, nope. 2 out of 3 bad. I'm like, holy shit, okay. Way to just let down one of the best writers coming in your freaking next 2
Right.
decades.
Right. All
That's
right.
insane.
It's funny that he'd sat on that for that long, because it was like
Yeah.
it's like 8 years later.
I just
Yeah.
wonder, like, when that issue of Teen Titans came out and the story broke and everybody loved it, did he like email Eric Briganza and be like,
Oh man.
what do you think now, bitch?
I'm sure by that point there's probably just like fucking I'm at DC, like water under the bridge. But I want to believe in some universe that totally happened, where he's just like, I wrote a letter like 8 years ago about this idea, and you like completely just didn't even
Publicly, you
regard it.
dissed it. Then
Yeah.
you
Anyway, fuck
used
you.
it, and you never acknowledged me.
Yeah.
You said, "Bzz, no, that wouldn't fly." And you know what? I tell you what. I bet you. I
Well,
hope
it's
his.
gonna fly now because I'm writing Teen Titans, bitch.
Yeah. Here's a signed copy of the issue.
I hope his letter was 2 sentences long. First sentence, Mike. Second sentence, drop. Oh yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Up next
You
week
didn't
we've
like
got.
my idea? How about D's nuts?
Take over DC. Up next week, we've got Batman 157. Absolute Superman number 4 is getting added to the stack. Poison Ivy number 30. Batgirl number 4. Birds of Prey 18. JSA number 4. Shazam number 20. Two-Face number 3. Batman Off-World number 6. Yes.
Finally.
Justice League, the Adam Project number 2. I've been looking forward to that one. And some other titles that will be handled on the honorable mentions show as well. And that's it. We'll be back next week taking care of all of those, every one of the weekly releases. Same geek time, same geek channel ish. And that's the show. We're getting out of here, so you'll have to as well. Be careful out there. And remember, in the Geek Matrix, everybody has a home. In the Geek Matrix, you are not alone.
Peace.
Stay tuned for the Absolute Show.